Evening, people. Hope people are good. I wonder if people are still in shock from what happened yesterday, because I know, I must admit, it's still crossing my mind with about 1,000 other things that are going through it at the moment. Apart from the fact that my so-called love of my life wife just literally kicked me out of the front room about 20 minutes ago because she wanted to watch something on the bloody telly. I thought, do you know what? I've sat on here. I've spoke to a few people now, offline, online, and I just, out of all the people I've not just had a chance to talk to, he's sitting here with me now. You know, Brian,
yes,
how
brother.
are we doing? Time for a change, isn't it?
Mate, we're doing very, 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 very well. As you can imagine, everyone's phones have been blowing up. You and me were doing the big up Beth. I can see Beth in the chat and everyone that is in the chat. You and I, or you were part of the mammoth deadline day stream that we were doing on Tottenham on Tour.
Yeah.
And obviously we were talking about, have we done this right? Have we done... Never in a million years did we think in 48 hours the world was going to implode. Like literally implode.
Yeah, you'd have literally thought there was more chance of winning the bloody lottery. I mean, we was talking about things happening, everyone putting a few things together. Is this going to happen? This one's on her way out, that's on her way out. But then as it goes on into the transfer window and the start of the season, you're like, maybe not. Maybe at the end of the season, whatever, if it does, whatever else and that. I mean, to put it quite bluntly, where the fuck did that come from? I was laying there, and I thought, I'm going to chill out. I ain't doing nothing.
Yep.
Weren't going to come online tonight till I got kicked out of bloody front room. And next thing, I just got a message. Levy's gone. What? And then next thing you know, my phone just got about 10, 20 messages come up. Then Dietrich calls me straight, like literally 2 minutes after the other call. Beth's like, what's the matter? I'm sitting there sort of like trying to sort of work out what's going on at the moment. I'm like, Levy's gone. She's like, what? I mean, even my wife knows Levy and the situation. That checks it out. She's like, he ain't bullshitting you. It's true. I was like, always seems to have Savage disappears, doesn't it? Something big always happens when he goes on holiday.
Mate, it's like Ali Gold, isn't it? It's like Ali Gold. My phone went batshit bonkers. Like literally, like mate, I didn't know my phone was going. Put it this way, I had 100% battery, and then within I think about 15, 20 minutes, I was down to about 38% because my phone was just going. My phone couldn't deal with it. It's still very, very weird. It's, I mean, no one saw it coming, did they? I said that I thought Frank would be the manager that would outlive Levy, but I thought by that it would be Frank going into his third, fourth, fifth season or second, whatever. Not before the beginning, not the beginning of September. It is a very, very exciting time for Tottenham Hotspur. Big up to everyone in the chat. Big up.
So just going to say a quick hello to a couple of people. And John the Fisherman, big up Dan, big up to you, mate. Come on, you Spurs. Yeah. And also say big up Brian to you. And say, hey, Luke, how we doing, mate? Hope everything's good. We are. Big up to you. James, Dante, and Mr. Daigle. Evening, gentlemen. Well, I don't know about gentlemen, but either way, I'll give you that one, fella. Big up to you, mate. TTID in shock. I'm elated. I don't know whether I'm coming or going with it, if I tell the truth, like the whole thing. And Beth, sharing is caring. Yeah, you can go full for multiply, sweetheart. We'll talk about that one later. And Simon Hill, big up Dan, big up Brian. Exciting news. He's on his way. I can feel it. Let's hope for.
Yep.
So poor from Beth. It's disgusting, isn't it? It's disgusting. I know. Dave's well, evening Dan and
Yeah,
Brian,
okay.
evening to you, mate. John also saying Brian is the Levy out OG, no better person for the moment. Tell me about it. So I'm going to say like a couple more, and we're just going to get to the bloody point.
Lisa, I'll see. I'm coming back to England. I'll see you soon.
And Lisa, evening Dan, my lovely Brian, and all the chat. Much love. Same to you. And Paul as well. Good evening, gents. And also with Tony, big up Dan, Brian, and chat. Big up you, fella. Always good to see you. I mean, where do we start with that in the aspect of where does this go? Because there's so many stories that you can put together here. And at the end of it, the whole thing could just be BS. Or you could put there's so many different things you can put together here that seem to work, don't work, match with that, match with this. How far back does it go? Is this like past 6 months, past year, past 5 minutes? That show he did with Neville when he stood there and said, people will appreciate me when I'm gone. Did that have something to do with it? Was that a little dig at the situation? There's just so many stories I can put together with It's just me, let alone with everybody else.
Dan, I go back to the bit, mate. God knows how long this has been planned, but do you remember when Vinay did the interview with Levy? And they said we need to win the Premier League, want to win. Did Vinay have in the back of his mind, yeah, we will, you're going? Honestly, you just don't know how far it goes back. What I will say, look, there's going to come a time now, which I never thought I'd be saying recently, where give it a few months or to the end of the season, where we won't even be mentioning Daniel Levy's name. Like I refuse to talk on Tottenham tour against the whole Ange thing. He's gone. Goodbye. Ta-da. Bye-bye. Thanks for winning the trophy. I will count him as a legend. Anyone that wins a trophy at this football club, I personally deem a legend to me. So he will be a legend in that sense. There'll be a time now where we don't talk about Daniel Levy. And as a fan base, this whole divide, and let's face it, it was the biggest divide in this fan base for a very, very long time.
I mean, one thing that splits something usually into two has split us into about 8 different, like I say, more rapes than cut up into more rapes than a bloody ounce is the way I say it. And that is literally how one thing can cut up a society as such into 9 different pieces, whatever, with far out, far in, little bit of maybe in the middle. Yeah. So where does it go from there then?
Well, Joe, let me just answer Joe's comment that he just put up there. What I will say, and this is the way I'm looking at it right now, I'll bring what you and Joe's been saying about Levy's son into it near the end. We are now in uncharted territory, obviously. This is now, for 25 years, love him or hate him, has been ENIC and Levy and ENIC. Now, we have ENIC for the first time. And what we're hearing is obviously the power play was made by Vivian and Charlie, the kids that wanted him pushed. And I will say Vivian has wanted Levy out for ages. Vivian has always wanted Spurs.
I have heard that before.
Vivian has always wanted Spurs to invest, or at least give the manager the tools they need and give them and be a lot more ruthless. Will that now happen? I'm giving ENIC this window in the summer, see what they're made of. We'll find out if it's Levy, big up Tom, if it was Levy that was the problem or ENIC's the problem. Like, for instance, we were all talking about the left winger, Dan, when you were on the show, weren't we? Will we get a left winger? Will we get a left winger? Mm-hmm. I keep going back, and the example I use is Virgil van Dijk. Do you remember when Liverpool tried to get him all summer? And Klopp was asked, "What player? Listen, we can't get him in the summer. What player do you want?" And he goes, No, I want Van Dijk. They wait until January, and then bang, New Year's Day, he's there. Could it be that way with Savinho? Just using Savinho, is Frank saying, "I want Savinho, that's the one"? Then look who's here. Then come January. Well, we will have to see. I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen now. We could get investment coming up. Big up, Scott M, brother. I'm looking forward to it. But with a lot has been made about Daniel Levy's son staying on as CEO. He's CEO of Tavistock, and ENIC. It's got nothing to do with the football. Yes, it all ties in one big loophole. He has no say in the football team, and the club have just got Daniel Levy out for 25 years because they want to go for a more successful model and be more adventurous on the pitch, they're not going to turn to Daniel Levy's son and say, right,
he's part of ENIC, isn't he?
He's part of ENIC and Tavistock. I know the links. Yeah. Everything's coming out. I think what we got to do right now as well is everything we hear has got to be taken with a pinch of salt. Everything, because right now, Spurs are the hub of the Premier League. I think before the international break's over, we're going to hear about more investment, whether it's legit or not, whether it's minor, buying Levy out, whether it's just a naming rights, sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. There is a lot to come our way. But something that we have thought has been the major stumbling block at this football club for the football team is no longer there. So it's just it's a glorious day.
What we need now is basically, whether it's for selling, whether it's for this, whether it's that maybe ENIC have woken up as well, because I've always still said there was always one big problem above Levy, and that was Lewis himself, basically, because he is the Don at the end of the day. Could they have even just woken up and it's finally time to start winning things? Because that might be the way to start bringing in the extra money on Spurs now with success and everything. There's so many ways you can look at things with what has gone on here. I mean, Levy's gone. I mean, is Lewis going to sell up now, or is he changed his mind, like I said? I mean, there's so many things we could talk about with Levy. I mean, on the business side, I would never disrespect the man on that when it comes to business. I don't think there's many people who could have pulled off what he did with us, but on the football side, always let us down and that. There's so many ways that this could have happened or might have happened and everything else. It's just what way do you put it together? I suppose it's not going to be for at least another 12 months before we get a rough idea of what's going on, isn't it? Luke, how we doing, fella?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. How are you doing?
Well, I was all right until I got kicked out of the front room. So, but either way. So, how did this work for you then? Where were you when this happened? I mean, do you know what? I think everyone's had a moment in their life at some stage where you just know exactly where you was.
It's like Diana, brother. It's like Diana.
Exact moment, exact time of your life. You will always remember where you were for that moment as such. And I think that is going to be one of those moments for a lot of us.
I was just about to jump in the shower. My phone just went ping, 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 ping. I was like, oh, what is all this about? Something's gone. I had a little look and I was just standing there for about 10 minutes going, yeah, but who's managed to nick? We sound about someone nicking Levy's wallet. I was like, who's managed to nick all of their Twitter accounts? Because there's no way he's just stepped down. I generally thought that someone had hacked into
Spurs. About basically, yeah.
Luke, do you know what I actually thought was going to happen at one point? I thought it was going to get taken down, and Spurs were going to say we've been hacked or something like that. This press release was like, I did genuinely. Sorry, Luke, didn't mean to cut you off there.
Did you just check again just to make sure it weren't the 1st of April? Was you like, oh, hang on a minute?
Tell you what I did. Someone said so. Obviously, I think like everyone was just having a calm day, doing what they're doing, work, chilling, whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, everything went batshit bonkers. I got sent a screenshot of it on WhatsApp. So I didn't. So a screenshot of the tweet. And then when people make fake Romero accounts or Ornstein and they spell it wrong with an underscore, I checked the word Spurs official so many times that I forgot how you spell Spurs official. I was like, no. I was like, let me just go onto Twitter. Then I saw it. I was like, glory.
Yeah, it's just it's so nice to get some news. Whether you're Levy in, Levy out, don't make a difference. But just to get news that you didn't get a report on every 2 minutes. There's an update. He's left the toilet. There's an update. He's left the bathroom. There's an update. He's having it was just bang done. It's just like back to the old days of like teletext trying to or waiting for deadline day for Sky Sports to report it. It was brilliant. So yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But you're right, Dan. You can take it in so many different ways. Like there are so many different ways to take this.
Yep.
It is. I mean, for me, I think this definitely goes back 6 months at least to a year, maybe even, that they've been plotting something up. I mean, because it's not exactly a small thing. I mean, because Levy is blatantly obvious. He did not just say, do you know what? I've had enough now. I'm going to leave. I think we can all work out and be pretty sure that he basically got told, baked potato, mate, see you later, you're gone. For whatever it is, whatever the reasons are, and that, I think we can all pretty much agree with that one. It's just how it's gone on and what intends to happen from then in there. Are they intended to sell, or is it just that they're going to change their way, or is it they're just adapting to modern day as such? Because, like, I think a lot of people agreed, he's past his time, definitely, and especially in the aspect, I think he's punching above his weight when it comes to a lot of deals now, where he's dealing with bloody billionaires, not millionaires. I mean, to us, that's like me going to like one of my poker competitions with £1,000 in my pocket and going against someone who's got £1 million in his pocket. I'm not going to win. And maybe he was just out of his depth from now on or whatever. I just don't. There's so many things you can put together. Is this part of the reason why? Could it have been that he did say to Ange, I don't care about that league, just get me that Champions League and that Europa Cup, come love nor money, because we need the Champions League to go wherever we want to go next, or someone buying it, or did he just want to leave with winning a cup? I don't know. There's so many things you can put to it.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though. It definitely goes back like over a year. I think the Donna Cullen thing, I've not seen many people mention it, but I've been screaming it from the rooftops. The fact Donna Cullen stayed on for one more year, I don't think that's coincidental. I think Levy probably noticed that there was a bit of a change that was taking place above him, and he probably thought, well, Donna Cullen was the one person who backed him.
Exactly.
By the stands of thing, was the person that backed him to the hilt.
Through and through, yeah.
So I think it almost was like, listen, my power's shifting here. I need you just for another year. Like, can you just stay the course? And then all of a sudden, a couple of months later, she's gone, he's gone. Like, I don't think that's coincidental. I don't think it's coincidental that he all of a sudden made 2 public appearances and interviews. And
he never does that, does he? Like, literally, the only times I've ever seen him do anything is like literally for 5 minutes.
Yep. And you could argue that Vinay's got a hold of him and said, listen, we need to be better publicly, because I've been saying this from day one, is that I've never looked at a piece of correspondence that's come out from Spurs and gone, they've nailed that, they've done that well. Like, even when it's been positive stuff, there's still been like a dig at fans, for instance, because I can't remember exactly what piece it was, but there was like, we've succeeded, you're all wrong. Every single bit of communication that comes out, strange. So I think Vinay's definitely come in and going to improve that. But now you look back on the interview and you go, I think people will respect me more when I'm not here. Like, the stadium is a game changer, etc. So I don't like what I've seen afterwards, to be honest with you. I don't like the reports that are coming out. I think I've been saying it as well. Like, I think Levy's been Levied. I think the facts is that the fan base have got so caught up in Levy, and I get it. But he's not the top dog in this. Like, he's been operating however he's been advised to operate. And if by what we're hearing, it's almost like, oh no, he shouldn't have been operating like that. We've got money and etc. Well, why is it taking you 25 years to do something about it? Like, if I'm the owner, I've got all of the money, and I keep seeing the reports constantly. Spurs keep missing out on players constantly over a few million, and I've got it. I'd be going, what are you doing? Why are you, we've got the money. Just do the, so I feel like they've almost, like Brian's saying, and I completely agree, you've kind of got to give it some time to work out whether it's how they're going to go and change and things like that. But they went from the biggest protest that's ever been. They've made one decision, and now everyone's going to give them a year's grace to work it all out. And I'm like, you should have acted on this 10 years ago. If you think he weren't running it correctly, why is it taking to this point for you to work that out? So, but then we said it earlier, Dan, like, there's so many different caveats to this. I think the fact that naming rights hasn't been on the stadium is because we're essentially going back to being neutral. We brought in a steady manager, probably isn't going to win you the league, definitely ain't going to get you bottom half or something.
Like they will. So, give him a couple of years with new money, Thomas.
I mean, relative to now, I think that's what we've gone. I think we've gone in. We're looking at if we've got investors, we've got people that want to buy this club. How can we look as stable as possible? You go and get yourself a stable manager, regardless whether you backed Ange or didn't. Stability was not him. He's not a stable manager. He's got highs up here and lows down there. You bring in Frank, who's steady. You bring in more experienced players. They're more steady. They're more consistent. And that seems to be the idea this summer. It was let's get consistency. Let's get to a decent level, and then we'll be more open to being able to get people to come in and spend big money, because no one's going to spend big money if you're 10th.
Yeah. No, but I mean, what you've also got to look at it as well. Sorry, Dad. I mean, you look at this now. So many wasted transfer opportunities. Whether you want to go, I'm not even talking SM or Gibbs White, talking about previous years and whatever. And we've all seen, we've all seen that back in the day, Levy used to be the master of getting transfers done. The Hugo Lloris's, and getting things done on deadline day. It's gone to the part now where no one wants to deal with him. No, I mean, it comes to a point where teams are actually playing him and stringing him along or whatever. And it's got to the point when other clubs build relationships to sell players and buy players, whatever.
No one wants to touch him.
No one wants to touch him. So even if we did have the money, people are so like, oh, here we go. I just can't. There's so many different ways to look at it. And like I said, I've seen a lot of people, especially when we've done shows on my channel. Yeah, but now we've got to get ENIC out. ENIC are the big problem, blah, blah, blah. At the moment, I'm like, I'm willing to give them. It's not Joe Lewis. It's not Joe Lewis. And if you remember correctly, ENIC don't actually own the football club. The Lewis, whatever it's called, hold it. The family's trust have got it. Yes, Joe Lewis. Let's face it. It's a fancy way of moving the money around when he got done. So
exactly,
the money was moved. But Joe Lewis doesn't have the power. It's his money. He doesn't have the power anymore. Vivian, like we said, Vivian, Charlie, and they have wanted to invest and make Spurs successful on the football pitch and try and make them regular challengers for title. I'm not saying we win them, but to compete when there's players available like Xavi Simons, we go get them done like that. Not, oh, here we go, this is going to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We might sit on our laurels and lose a player because a big club will come in. So right now, I will always have my I will have my doubts or whatever with ENIC and always think, right, look what you've done in the past. This has been with Levy. Right here, right now, until the January window, I was saying the only thing ENIC can do to show us there's change, they can't buy players for obvious reasons. The only thing they could do, and I said it as three things. One, they start offering contracts to people like Mickey van der Ven and big players and putting them up nearer the 200 grand, whatever, or higher up there. So it looks like, okay, we're actually tying down the stars. Two, not that I'm saying they will do this. Can you imagine if they went and said, right, listen, this is how we're going to show you things are going to change. We're going to name the South Stand the Bill Nicholson Stand. Something like that. Or even better.
I get where you're coming from. Keep the fans happy, sort of.
Exactly. Or even third, now Levy's gone. If ENIC come out right now, and it's all they can do till January. This is only saying till January because they can't influence the squad. They just can't do anything. But if they said, do you know what? We've put those Bill Nicholson gates up. I know there's a picture behind it, but we're going to get a Bill Nicholson statue of him holding those gates. Germany fans will be absolutely delighted and be like, oh my God, that is such a... Like, we've wanted statues for ages. Bang. Here we go. Statue. There's only things they could do till January. So until January, I'm not going to be ranting and raving at ENIC. I'm not going to be... It's fully on supporting Frank and the lads and the coaching staff, because we can all bitch and moan about ENIC and think, oh, yeah, nothing's going to change, blah, blah. They can't change anything technically to the playing squad or apart from contracts till January.
I think they're going to build a pub right on the corner. It's going to be the biggest pub. It's going to be called the Levy Inn.
Oh, Jesus. Mate, oh my God. Don't say that. Austin. Don't get it out in the ether.
You see what you were just saying. You see what you were just saying here, Brian. It literally, like, Tony had literally just writ this while he was in mid-process of saying it. Like, Justin, a new bid to try and sign Savino from Manchester City in January has not been ruled out. And, yeah, basically with that, if it came to the very start of January and all of a sudden we just went in and said, right, there you go, there's 75 million.
Yep.
that would definitely show that there's some sort of ambition there or some sort of something there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Dan, even if the negotiations don't take, listen, I don't expect Spurs to go into every player now and go, right, how much do you want for him? Yup, here you go. Here you go. Here you go. There's always going to be some negotiations, unless it's release clauses or whatever. I don't expect Spurs to do it all the time. But if Spurs, let's just use Savinho, because I think it's quite clear to see that Frank was the guy he wanted from what we're looking at and what we can only read into it. If Spurs went in the first few days of January, or even January the 1st, and wrapped up Savinho and go, there you go, bish, bash, bosh, there's Savinho, straight away, like, oh, hello, aren't you? In January, the hard window, where other clubs get business done, but I understand the whole January, you've only got a month, but if a Savinho's there and he hasn't been playing regularly for Manchester City and he wants the World Cup, you bet your arse he's going to kick off a fuss. And if Spurs just go in and we're only using Savinho as the example, and go, bang, there you go. That will, obviously it's only one deal. You need to see more, but you can only be like, well, that's different, isn't it? We've gone in and got a player in quickly, and there was a negotiation of some sort, whatever, but Spurs got it done. That will be a sign of change as well.
Well, definitely it will be. I mean, it's like the questionnaire from Rude Boy. He says here, with the same ownership from next 2 windows, do you see the increase in the wage bill and everything? It's like what you're saying. I mean, Romero got his new contract, basically. I mean, he wasn't going anywhere anyway. No one was going to pay 70 million for him. We weren't going to let him go for less than that, basically. So he's accepted his new contract, more money. So he's happy with that. But then you would have thought someone like Van der Ven, who's on less money than Archie Gray, for God's sake, you'd think they'd put a contract down for that as well, wouldn't you? Something like that.
Spurs have always been good at that, though. Spurs have always been brilliant at offering new contracts to rising stars. I mean, Kane signed about 10 different extensions, even though he had a 5-year contract. I think Bergvall signed 2. Spencer signed 2 within a year. So, and the wage bill, that was always going to go up, regardless whether Levy was here or not, because we'd got it to an all-time low. It could only go up. It weren't
like, what was it, 41% or whatever, when it one of the lowest.
But we adopted that to go, and we got big earners off the bill and signed young players on lower wages, although some would argue they're still pretty high. But we was always going to have to bring in and spend more on the wages. So I think that's a natural progression, whether Levy was here or he wasn't. But this window has been very different. So you would my estimate, again, everything is so guesswork, but in terms of this window, my expectation is they kept Levy. They didn't do it at the start of the window because they needed some continuation. Vinay's barely been here. Collicott's barely been involved. Like they've had to have some continuation. So he's been around to get the deals over the line. So is it been his window? Has this been fed off of Levy? Is he the one that's been involved? Is he not? Like we don't know this. We don't know whether he's the guy that's kind of pushed it all. So I think that there seems to have been a deviation away. And also in terms of missing out on Savinho, it's a bit of a nightmare. But if Spurs are going for 1 target and 2 targets, and if they don't get them, they're not signing, I'm okay with that, as long as they eventually get one over the line. Like if we wait till January for Savinho, is that worth it? As opposed to signing Ademola Lookman, and then in a year's time you're going, oh, he's not the level that we want to get to because we want a title-winning left winger, and he's not. Whereas we might think Savinho is. So I've been saying it also about the level of signings. Like we're going to miss out on players, guys. Unfortunately, we're just going to miss out on players because we're targeting top players now that are going to have other top clubs that go after them. That's just being part of where you're at, sort of thing. So, but yeah, I mean, there's so many things to be excited about, and there's so many things to be negative about. Let's just run with it.
Yeah, I suppose it's as tight. It's just now you could just go with the flow. I mean, there's so many, like I said, there's so many things you can come up with this, that maybe it's to do with this, maybe it's to do with that. I mean, I've still just got this funny feeling personally. I still think within the next 12 months, you're going to start seeing either someone put a significant percentage of the club in their back pocket, or even be willing to come in and buy the club, basically. there's going to be something big that happens on that side as such. I think if they don't buy the club, they're going to have 25% of the club as such.
Yep.
I think there's definitely going to be a big input coming in somewhere. Where it goes from there, again, only time will tell. I mean, if someone comes in and they're willing to pay a lot of money for it and then say, do you know what, there's just an example amount of money, there's 200 million to go and spend, I don't think Lewis or any of that lot are going to care because it's not their money that's going on there. I mean, since they bought Spurs or whatever, they haven't exactly lost money, have they?
Absolutely crazy. Their investment's 10, 15 times what they
from what I saw, since Levy was here, since he was here for 25 years, we are the biggest money-making club in the Premier League. We have actually made the most money.
Yeah, because also people forget about how much. I know we're shocking at selling players now. We used to be unbelievable because every year we would sell more than we'd buy. Like we was constantly selling more players, like bringing in more from transfers than what we was spending out. So you think of like Berbatov's, Bowles, Kane, the amount of money that we've kind of made in recent years, or not recent years, but a few years back. So it wouldn't surprise me.
You know what you got to look at as well? I think what we're going to see as well is one of the main things I think we'll see is we've wasted so much time and been so bad with windows of getting players out. And that's again because of the price tags that have been put on them or his reluctance to do it. And we've all been saying how poor this window was for outgoings. There could be an absolutely almighty shift in the transfer activity. There really, really could. And like Luke was enabling to about not buying Chira, we're all going nuts because we all originally were disappointed we didn't sign a left winger. Like, we've been left short again, which I get. But would we rather have got a left winger in that may have done the job and may have been a punt or may have been an okay player? Or if Spurs have said, right, you want Savinho? It's not going to be possible to get it over this window. But if we don't buy you the winger, invest in a player there, we'll put all that, let's say 30 million or whatever, right bang in towards getting, like we've been saying, people have been using Matisse Tau, saying, why have we spent 30, 40 million on him? Obviously, with Frank, the deal was pretty much, let's say it was pretty much done.
It was done and dusted anyway, wasn't it?
We were all saying, Dan, weren't we? We could have used that 40 million and use it to get player X, player Y. Well, maybe Spurs are doing that right now with the left winger. And it was like, we're not going to bring in a Lookman or whoever it may be. You've earmarked Savinho as the one you want. Do you reckon you can hold off till January with the squad we got? You got Mawani play left. You got Simmons who can play left. You've got Odebear. You got Johnson. You got blah blah blah. Can you hold off till January if we go all out to try and get your number one player in? And Thomas Frank probably could have said yes.
Possibly. I mean, it is a possible thing to it. I mean, it's like I've said with the transfer window we've had. I mean, I haven't even had a chance to talk about it to people, really. I mean, in a lot of ways, you could say it wasn't the best window. I mean, we had players out and we got 4 players in. Well, you can say 6 players in, but 2 of them was pretty much done anyway. But the one thing I did like about this window is that every player we got, well, out of the 4 players we bought mainly, they were at least good players. Or at least one that's proven good with a hell of a lot of potential like Simmons. I mean, looks very good, has been very good in his previous league, in Bundesliga, and also looks like he's got the potential to come up another 2 levels as well from very good to quality, and who says he can go further. I've always said I would rather we go and do that than go and get 7 players that are okay, that might get into the team. We've gone and got 4 players that basically walk into that team as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Wane, some are going to question about him. I mean, his GA, his records and everything are okay. They're all right, but I'd say he's better than what we got. So I'm not going to complain in that aspect. Can Frank get something out of him? I think he can. Time will tell. But I would rather that, like you say, if that is the player we want and we're sure we can get him, or there's a very high chance we can get him, but okay, if we have to wait another 3 months to go and do it, I would rather do that than just go and waste the money on something else, basically. That is what a real big club does, doesn't it? or they at least have a plan of 3 players of the same quality they can go for. Whereas we ain't quite at that sort of level yet.
I think that's part of the plan, and it's worked out wrong. But we've had our budget, and we've tried to split it up into and sign as many players as possible. Whereas now we're going and 150 million instead of spending 30 million on 5, we're spending 50 million on 3, and that's just a natural progression. That's why I like the 100 million when with Walton. I'm sitting there going, Spurs don't need a £100 million player right now, because we're not at the level where everyone else is so good that we just need to sprinkle that 1 star on top. Like, say, for instance,
that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Keep going. Sorry, mate. I'm just agreeing with you.
We can, for me, Spurs should be targeting £50 million players. And then eventually, when we get enough of them, you then go, right, we don't need to buy 3, 4, 5 players this window. We need 2. We need one that's 100 million and one that's 20. And because listen,
like Arsenal did with Declan Rice, basically.
100%. We don't need Declan Rice right now. Amazing to get him. Don't get me wrong. Amazing to get him. Not saying I can't go and get him. But what I'm saying is you don't need to spend £100 million to upgrade, like on one player to upgrade a position, because we can go and do it for 50 or 60. And then when you've got 11, £50 million players, you then go and spend your 100. Like, there's very rare occasions that you can go and spend that 100 when we've got so many holes in the squad, as Brian alluded to. So I think that's where we need to understand, is that we need to be spending 50s, 60s, getting good level players in. And then after that, that's when you start sprinkling all the £100 million and here, there and everywhere. And that's exactly what Arsenal did. If you remember rightly, everyone said the year before, they're missing a dominant midfielder. They're missing a midfielder. And they went, there's your 100 million. Liverpool, prime example. Everyone went, yeah, they're a centre-back. Karius was in goal. And I can't remember who's at centre-back, but they went, yeah, they're really struggling on a goalkeeper and a centre-back. And they went, yes, them two at a different level take us to a new level. So we'll go and spend, it was 80 odd million. But that's now 100 million. When you look at some of the players that are being bought at this moment in time for £40 million, some of the deals we've done, I think, have been superb. I think they'll work out really, really
Simmons
well.
For 51 million. I mean, for me, he's a player that you've bought with the quality you've seen so far. But he's also a player that you buy with the hell of a lot of potential that you see on him as well, because he is only 22, isn't he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we've seen a couple of years of him, and I've seen him play a few times in Germany, not that many, but a few times. And then obviously watched a lot of videos on him, everything else. You can see he's got the skill. He knows what he's doing with that ball. He knows what he wants to do with the ball before he gets it, when he's sort of doing the playmaker sort of role. And there's not many that do that anymore. And you can definitely say that he's worth one spending the money for the potential side of it as well, because you can definitely see there is a quality player there. And I think for 51 million, I think we got a bit of a steal there, if I'm going to be totally honest.
I do as well. I think even if he has a couple of years where he's okay, I still think you can sell him for 50 million. He'd be 24. Like, this is a wonder kid that's been fancied from like the age of like 12. He was like, Barcelona were like, he was like the star boy of Barcelona. Then he went to PSG. And, like, so even if he has average seasons, he's still worth 50, 60 million. Like, when you compare it, as I said, to some of what the Premier League transfer window, what some of them players are going for, you just like, he's easily worth that. And this is where the way Levy approached things might have worked, because we wouldn't have got him for that price if we just went all out and got him at the start of the window, because they wanted 80 million. So this is where it works. But then you also need to take with that, when it backfires, because you could say Eze was the one that we wanted, it backfires also doing that. Do you know what I mean? You've got to take the positive and negative of both ways. So, but yeah, honestly, if someone offered me 50 million, 51 million for Simmons at the start of the window, I would have absolutely snapped your hand off for that. I think it's an incredible piece of business.
I mean, that one is definitely a brilliant piece of business for me. I think for 51 million, for what I've seen of him already and the excess potential he's got on him, I think we have definitely got a steal there. I mean, what do you think on that one, Brian, with Simmons?
So what are we asking? What kind of player do we think we got a good player there, or what is that? What the question is?
What do you think on the deal? Yeah, what do you think on the deal we got with him, basically, for 51 million?
I do think we've got a very, very good player there. I really do. One thing I think we've got to work on and look at with the Simmons deal as well is that was in Tottenham Hotspur's history and Tottenham Hotspur's recent transfer history, that was a massive, massive deal financially and everything. And obviously, we were going for Morgan Gibbs-White when James Maddison was fit. Whether we thought Morgan Gibbs-White was going to be an 8 or a 10, I would have preferred him in the 8, but we were still going for him whilst Maddison was there. We went for Eze when Maddison was injured and we knew Kulu was out. And obviously, we dillied and we dallied and we messed about, had the opportunity, and then obviously the filth came in and snatched him from under our noses. Not a good look. I think we've got to look at what we did with Simmons is we went in for him when Chelsea had been in for him all day, and it got wrapped up. Like there was links that it was going to happen, and we were interested, and we're like, yeah, okay, whatever. Of course, Chelsea are involved. As soon as Chelsea come in, we'll lose him, bang. Look how quickly Spurs got that wrapped up. Yes, it was late in the window. Forget how late it was in the window and how desperately we needed it. That's probably when it is Spurs' record transfer. Oh, no, it's not 51 million, but it's rising to 70. It could have been that normal thing would have been a whole ordeal. And we would have messed about and been a little bit off the valuation. Then we're with this and then the play. Bang, like that. So we moved in and got it. And we got it done quick in the time frame of the actual deal itself.
Like we did with Kudus as well, and I think the one with Kudus was also down to the fact that West Ham desperately wanted the money as well. I think that was a big part of that one as well.
That's a huge part. Obviously, Chelsea were rumoured as well. He said he only wanted Tottenham, but like I said, we went for him. Look, we could have gone for Mbeumo, we could have gone for Semenyo. Listen, I'm delighted with Kudus, but then Kudus was there. West Ham needed money. Bells start ringing for a certain chairman, and he's a very, very, very good player. And he's shown it in 2 of the 3 games. I think he was a little bit off from Bournemouth, but so was everyone for me, apart from Van der Ven and Vicario.
That was a terrible game.
Oh, man, it was awful. It was awful. Frank got it wrong, unfortunately. And he's going to learn from it. But
I think the Simmons deal improves the Kudus deal massively.
Oh, completely. Because now we've got him.
Yeah.
We've got another creative person. If you look, Bournemouth spent a lot of time doubling up on him because they were like, right, he's the only correct. There was no creativity apart from him. The 3 midfielders, Benson, Corsar, and Paulinho. Johnson isn't creative. Richard. So everyone was like, right, if we cut his oxygen off, they can't get the fire going.
Same as focusing on Porro, wasn't it? They know Porro can't defend come off nor money, so keep the ball going down to them like they used to with Ange.
Exactly. We've needed options. We desperately needed this creative player, this flair player, and he's here now. I think he's going to, obviously, he's young, he's raw, he's 22, but he comes with a, mate, he is a very, very, very good player. And I can't wait to see him going. I mean, I can't believe I'm going to have to go now, Dan, like I said, because Ilana's just finished work.
Okay, mate, no problem.
But I will say, how wonderful is it that the first game of the Levy-free tenure or history at Spurs is away at West Ham, who hate their fucking owners. Well, not only would that atmosphere be great because it's a derby and we hate each other, but they're going to be bitching and moaning about their owners, and the away end is going to be a carnival. It's going to be a goddamn carnival in that away end, and it's going to be hopefully this changes the home atmosphere. Everything changes. Dan, honestly, brother, always a pleasure.
Take care of yourself, mate.
See you later on.
Speak to you soon, Brian.
Luke, always a pleasure, brother. Never mention that pub to me again. I never, ever, ever mention it. I look forward to seeing you when I'm in London in a few weeks. Everyone in the chat, have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. And as always, Levy's gone.
See you later. I mean, so, Lou, I mean, we're going on like a Simmons bit. I mean, I know there's plenty I can go with Levy, but I just really haven't had much of a chance to talk to anyone about the end of the transfer window as such. What do you think we're actually going to use him as? Because when I've seen him play on the left, I've seen him play on as the 10, and then checking up on his stats and everything else, he's just as good on both sides. Yeah. Creates just as many, scores just as many. Do you think he's our idea for our actual new number 10 playmaker, or is he going to be the new Son as such sort of idea? I mean, I personally feel we need the 10, but
I think it's the 10. I think it's the 10 now. But Maddison's back, Kulusevski comes back, then I think he becomes the option off the left as well. Because I don't think the option off the left is perfect. So I think if Kulusevski comes back, and we're saying about getting Savinho in January, if you don't get him in January for whatever reason, he's playing regularly for City, say, then you've got Kudus, you've got Kulusevski, and you've got Simmons. I think that's part of the process, is that he will also be dictated off the left. But also, I've got a video being released.
He's actually played last season, if I remember right, Luke. He actually played more on the left than he did actually in the middle.
Yeah, no, he did play off the left, but very much that he's got the freedom to kind of roam. I've got tomorrow. I've got a video being released on my channel from. I went and spoke to a Leipzig fan, and he was like, he would. I think by the sounds of it, it'd almost be perfect in that that 5 at the back with 2 10s. Like he plays as a 10, but just from the left hand side
as a free role.
Yeah. But to be honest with you, I think he's got. And with Frank, you know that their players are going out there and they're going to know what's required of them and what they need to do. And I think honestly, I think that from what I can get, from what it looks like, his weaknesses are exactly where Frank's strengths are, in terms of he's not necessarily work rate, but his ability to be able to defend, his ability to track back. That's where he needs to work on. And Frank's a master at that. So I think it will be really, really good he's almost going to make him a more complete player. Do you know what I mean? So it was brilliant.
I think he's the perfect manager. I think he's the perfect manager for him as well. The perfect type of coach for him, isn't he? He's definitely known at getting better out of players as such, and also bringing on young players and things like that as well. He's very well known for it. I mean, I must admit, I am definitely looking forward to seeing him play. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to play and what formation we're going to use with it and everything else. I mean, and then with Kudus also there as well, they're not just going to be able to focus on him either, are they?
Yeah.
So they're going to
actually... I kept saying. We needed a second signing that was an attacking outlet, because otherwise they would just double up, and then Kudus starts getting frustrated. He starts getting annoyed. The rumor is that he wanted out at West Ham after 1 year. So last year when he had a dip, apparently that was because he wanted out the whole season. And unless you start putting him around better players, if he's just getting doubled up on all the time, you can imagine how frustrating it is. So I was like, saying, to elevate him, he needs to have a better player that's around him, because as I said, exactly what happened with Bournemouth. You just look around and go in, all right, they've got their strengths, these players, but he's the one. You target him, they're going to struggle.
And it takes the team out, basically, doesn't it? Because there have been a lot of teams like that one player they've got is that deadly, but you know if you take him out of that game. And that's what I've always said about like, you do have to adapt to every game, basically. You do know that every team has got a star player there, or some of them have got too many there, basically. But if you know that their left winger is their top man and he's going to create for them and he's going to cause chances and that, then you just blatantly shift things about a bit and you double up on that, man. It is quite simple like that, really, isn't it?
100%. Even like, I know that the Timo Werner deal was dreadful and it didn't work out or anything like that. But last year, you got to look at it from the other point of view, in terms of, I look at it, so my winger, for instance, so we've got Brennan Johnson, or we've got Son, or we've got Werner, whatever. I look at it like, if I'm a defender, which one of them do I want to come up against, and which one do I not want to come up against? And Werner's one you don't want to come up against, because you know he's just going to run you every single time. Okay, when he gets to the byline, he might not deliver, he might not score, whatever, but you know that he's going to be a nightmare. Whereas with like Son, that was the difference for me. Son, I'd be like, I'd love to play against Son, because Son just turns back, passes it.
Same as Johnson, can't beat his man either, can he?
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just need that. You need that in the head of the defender going, oh, I'll tell you what. That's why Kane improves drastically when there's a runner that plays with him. Like if you've got Anthony Gordon for England, for instance, that's why Son was fantastic in MC, because with Kane, you was going, well, if we let him go in, that's all right, because we can defend that. But then when you've got Son running in behind, you're going, oh, if we go in, he's going to. So now, and you make defenders constantly think. And that's what sometimes I think fans forget, is that someone could be really, really good or someone could be really, really bad. But actually, if they challenge a centre half, if they make them think, if they're speedy and it's almost like, oh my God, like, I didn't even like think about that. Do you know what I mean? Like Werner running at you, he's absolutely rapid. A right back's going to be sitting there going, he's a nightmare. Because it, like for me, I'll be going, the one time he does get past me and I just let him run, he's going to square it, score, and I'm going to look all right, Wally. And I think that's what it is. A lot of fans don't. There's a load of factors, and the way Frank plays is that he will completely adapt and he'll look and target, and sometimes he'll play like a Richie as a second striker maybe instead of on the left wing, and there'll be so many different things. So we need to have all different types of creative players and different profiles in the team, because that's what he'll do.
Yeah, I can definitely see it with that, and that is why I wanted a manager like that who can do that sort of thing. Ben, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, big up, fellas. How you doing? You all right tonight? Hello, Luke. How you doing, mate?
All good,
yeah,
mate,
apart from the fact that I got kicked out of my front room because someone else wanted to watch something on telly. Fine.
Are you in the doghouse, mate? Are you in the doghouse?
No, it's not in the doghouse. I just got kicked out of the front room because it was my wife's TV program she wanted to watch, and I didn't. Well, fuck off in there and do a show or something. It's all right, then I will then. So it's bollocks. I'll get a drink, and I thought I'd do a show, and here we are now. And right, I mean, so you've had a day to think about things, going back on what we was just talking about, sort of thing. You've had a day to think about things and talk about it then. So come on, with everything that has happened now with Levy, your side on it. What has happened and where do you think we're going?
I mean, look, it's a massive positive, really, as far as I'm concerned. Look, I was always a Levy outer, but I can't help reminiscing on some of the things that he's done right. And I know I shouldn't. You know, I think about the stadium, I think about the training facilities. And I think in general, what he's done has just been nothing short of a miracle off the pitch. Off the pitch. I'm going to say that nice and loud and clear. But again, you know, on the pitch, it's just been disaster after disaster. You know, close call for all the players that we could have brought in. Because you've got to think, right? A lot of the players that we missed out on because of Levy, you know, could have changed the course of our history. You know, you've got players in there like Hazard, Suarez. You know, a lot of these players were missed out on by like 5-10 million.
But that's not always the case. Like Hazard only signed for Chelsea because they got into the Champions League over us. The whole deal was done. He was coming to Spurs. And then it was that stupid rule where, because they won the Champions League, they stayed in it. Therefore, we dropped out. And Hazard literally effectively said it in an interview. And he was like, I was going to Spurs, and then they lost the ability to play Champions League. So I agree. We've missed out on loads of players because of his tactics. But there's also so many different factors. Like we didn't miss out on Eze because we were slow. I don't think. He wanted Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan. He wanted Arsenal. And I think it was just a case of, we need to get some other business done. And as soon as we can, we're going to come in for you. So I agree with you. We have missed out on players, no doubt. But I think that we've just got it in our head that Levy's to blame for absolutely everything. And I feel like I don't think that's true. And I think you should reminisce on the good times. I think you absolutely should. We should be doing that with everyone. You can't just focus on the sole negatives of every single, like, that. You got to have some sort of balance to it. So
he got it right, though, Lukey boy. He got it right. When I think I'll be appreciated when I'm gone. He got it right. How very cryptic was that?
100% he will be. 100%.
I do. I mean, some people are saying. I mean, some people are saying like that. He got pushed out at the last minute. I've read on some things. Others saying that this has been planned for ages. I think there's definitely a good 6 months to a year behind planning on this sort of thing. And I just find it too much of a coincidence that he comes out with something like that in interviews that he don't usually do. I just find that too much of a coincidence.
And that is a really interesting point you bring up, because think about it. If this was an overnight decision, which some people are claiming it was, I tell you something, those two interviews that he did, he hit it very well. And I'm talking about the interview with Vinay Venkateshan. I can't pronounce his name. I'll butcher it. I'm sorry. Vinay, I'll stick with that.
Myself, mate.
Yeah, him and
myself.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And then the one with who's the little short Man United fella? What's his name? Gary Neville. The interview he did with Gary Neville. I'll say one thing for the guy. If this was planned, he did a very good job in hiding it, because I would never have guessed from the two interviews that I saw.
This is a £4 billion company. they don't wake up and decide to sack the geezer that's running it. It just doesn't happen like that.
I agree with that.
Business does not work like that.
Yeah.
The rumor is with Spurs and Ange, the rumor is that they knew, like, before the cup final, they knew what they were doing. They just didn't want to announce it that quick because they didn't want it to be like, you've won us a trophy and we've sacked you immediately. Like, these decisions, they happen so far. The only thing that would have happened is like the protest and all of that. That would have vindicated their choice. And it maybe would have sped it up. So they may have been going, we're going to get rid of him at the end of next year, say. And then they've looked at that and gone, we need to bring it forward. But Vinay coming in, Colacott coming in, all just before the season's ends. That is how you operate at a top-level business. You bring in people, predecessors that are going to take over, have a little look, have a little gauge on how things are working, and then go, that's not quite right. Right, we can fix that. They've not just woke up and gone, I'll tell you what, let's sack him. That'll be a laugh. Like, it's a £4 billion investment. There's no way that this has been a quick fire decision, unless there's been like a huge massive row and everything. But them families are so intertwined, I just can't see it. I just cannot see a world where same as Levy being sacked. Like, in terms of there was been reports today that Levy only found out a few hours before.
Exactly. That's what I've read today on a few things. I've read quite a few different things. That's what I'm saying. There's so many different stories you can come up with. That don't make sense that it was only, say, a week or two ago that this was decided. I mean, this has to be surely at least 6 months ago they knew what was going on to a year ago.
He's still got shares in the holding company. They're still intertwined. He's married into that family. And also, like, regardless of what people think he's done, because I agree in terms of, for 20 years he was absolutely incredible for this club, and the last 5 years he's just not taken that next step. I don't think he's ever going to be the chairman to take the next step, but what he's done for 20 years was absolutely incredible, from stadiums and everything else. You still have to sit there and go, we're not going to then just go and sack him. Like, there was never ever going to be a world where Levy is sacked by Tottenham. Forget about his ownership and all of that. He's been there for 25 years. That's not how business operates.
And he ain't stepping down either to lose out on his $3 million a year bonus.
That's why it's been a mutual agreement where it wouldn't surprise me some way or another that Levy is still somehow paid for a couple of years, say, or a year or whatever, because he's just not going to go, oh, don't worry about me, $3 million. Like, it's £3 million, and also it'd be loads of other stuff as well as part of that. So yeah, these are not quick decisions. I know we all get caught up in it, but this is a company to Lewis. This is a company that he runs. It's an income. It's worth $4 billion. They don't wake up and go, yeah, let's sack him. They don't make that decision in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. It would have been all of this would have been planned out.
Yeah.
Do you think this transfer window had anything to do with it to perhaps hasten it? And what I mean by that is, we had 2 or 3 transfers where we looked really, really stupid. And I just wonder, could that perhaps have anything to do with hastening along the idea of him getting sacked? Because you've got to be honest, we didn't look good. We did not look good this window. It was embarrassing for us.
At certain points, yeah, maybe. Just a quick one. Super Spurs TV, new member. Thanks a lot, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I do find it strange that we have sort of waited at least 3 games into the season and the end of the window that he goes. I would have thought the time that would have been more logically to let him go was before the start of the transfer window. Personal opinion. I don't know about you two.
The only thing I would say about that is that Vinay would have only been here a couple of weeks. And Connicott and Charrington, they've not, I don't think they've ever managed a transfer window. I feel like you still had to have some sort of experience in there, even if it was the kind of final say sort of thing, maybe not being as hands-on. So that's the only reason why it does make it. There's no perfect way. There's no great time to do it. But I think that would have been part of it, where they had to have some sort of experience. Because imagine having people that have never run it before. Like, we're talking about football transfers here. It's not like just an pick it up and go and do with it, like run with it. That's not. So I feel like that would be a reason as to why you would have stuck around. But yeah, and in terms of the transfers, I know people are not going to like this, but I don't really blame Levy for any of the transfers that failed. I really, really don't. The only thing I blame him for is maybe how long it took to get to that eventuality. Maybe he should have moved on quicker, but not that the Nottingham Forest thing. I don't think there's no one in
football. I don't blame anyone's fault for that. Really,
no one understands what's going on there. We triggered a release clause, and then like from all intents and purposes, people were saying that he didn't want to come to Spurs. He signed a contract. We offered him a contract. He was like going to come and do the medical. Like he was
going to do the medical, wasn't it?
To come to Spurs, and then all of a sudden turned around and said, "I'm not coming." Like there's far more that goes into it. And as I said, with the Eze situation, I don't think he ever wanted Spurs. I think it was always a case of if there's any chance of me going Arsenal, I'm going Arsenal. So
I do agree with that.
When we triggered it,
but I do think if we'd have paid up the way they wanted, and like I've said before, put the money on the table when you need to, and that, I think we could have. I think we could have got that deal done earlier. I think Arsenal definitely stepped in more on the side that Havertz got injured, but that's just a personal opinion. But we do know that Arsenal wanted.
You know what, Dan? I completely agree with you there, mate. I feel like if you really want your man, you tie that up nice and quick because sharks will always circle.
Like we did with Simmons, like we did with Kudus.
Exactly. But this is the thing. Like I will say this much on the Morgan Gibbs White situation: hushed lips suggests a bit of guilt. So perhaps maybe we did do something illegal. You know, you'd rather it didn't get out into the public. So, you know, there's two sides of it, isn't there, really? I mean, you know, Luke, I hear what you're saying, and for all accounts, you're probably right. But I don't know. It's a little bit suspicious, that Morgan Gibbs White one for me. You know, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's guesstimation at the end of the day from us, boys. So,
it is all a guess at the end of the day. Just a quick thing. Super Spurs TV gifted 5 Hotspur Hood memberships. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Anyone who received a membership, bite my bloody tongue off what I'm fucking saying it. Please do say thank you. And mate, thanks again for being a member and putting the memberships out. It is really appreciated. Go on, Luke, with what you were saying, mate.
No, like I completely get it, and we probably did do something that's not by the book. Again, like with Forest. But everyone does that. Like everybody does that. I mean, Forest, Leon, and all of that. The way that they're backhanding transfers and going from one to another, and that Textor was involved with Palace, who didn't get in the Europa League because of Leon, and then Leon and Nottingham Forest, and like that's all intertwined and all linked up. So don't be sitting there telling me that they haven't done anything that's not squeaky clean. I think that they lost Elanga. They wasn't expecting this transfer to go through. People also forget Morgan Gibbs White was offered a new contract for over a year at multiple occasions and refused it every single time. Like if you look into Marinakis' history, bribery, like threatening and all of that is not off the record. Like it's really not off the record. And Morgan Gibbs White was going through massive stuff. If you even listen to what he said about when he signed a new contract and he come out and had an interview, he was like, it was so relieving for my wife. I was so happy for my wife. It was nothing to do with him. Like it was all, my wife was struggling and all this, that, and the other. And it's like, if you've just signed a contract, you're like, I think he's near enough club captain or one of the captains. You'd be going like, I'm delighted. The family are delighted. It seemed to me like he was going like, I just wanted to make sure things were settled. Like it was such a weird thing.
Luke, that interview he did when you know, the announcement interview, it looked like Marinakis had a shotgun to his back, didn't he? Jesus Christ.
100%. But yeah, listen, I'm not like people in the chat are saying I'm a Levy apologist. I'm not. I'm just saying that there has to be, like, if you've been in a job for 25 years, you're going to have got things wrong. 100%, you're going to have got things wrong. Go and listen to any interview that Arsene Wenger's ever done. He nearly signed every single decent player you've ever heard of. Because we was interested in him. Yeah, we looked at him. Yeah, we tried to do like that's just part of the course. And there's loads of transfers that probably are on him. I don't know who it is on YouTube, but someone said whenever you deal with Levy, it's like going into a war. Every single transfer, and I completely agree. completely
when
agree.
When I read Alex Ferguson's book, Ferguson spoke about him in there quite clearly. How he could not. He spoke highly of him in the aspect of as a businessman sort of thing, but he is just the man you do not want to do business with.
But that's
for yourself as such.
That's what kept Kane so long. That's what allowed us to get a world record transfer fee for Bao. That's what allowed us to get the 30-odd million for Berbatov when that was an extortionate amount of money then. Like, you can't have it every single way. You can't have it so that, like, that's what got us Van der Vaart, because he was so reluctant and so relentless. And like, you can't just go, it doesn't work me that way, but it works. It's both ways. So there will be deals that completely fail because of it. But then there'll also be deals that absolutely work because of it. I just said it about Simmons. Simmons at 51 million, tried out at the start of the window, you're paying 80. He's effectively saved the club like 25 million pound by waiting 3 weeks.
Luke,
it's a dangerous game to play. Hang on a second, Ben. I mean, Archer, what do you say? It takes piss that you can't gift a ticket to someone without the.
Yeah, you have to
without them having to sign up for a membership for 50 quid. What is it changed to that now?
Yeah, so if you've got a ticket, you can't give it to anyone that's not a one Hotspur member, which is 50.
Oh, right, yeah, trigger. Sorry, my slow one. I know what he's on about there now. Yeah, I was just thinking, what the fuck is he talking about? And I just clocked on what he meant with what. Yeah. You got to be, you got to pay the £25 to be the member, so you can even sell your ticket to them or give your ticket to them and that. Yeah, I was just sitting there thinking, what is he talking about? Yeah, I suppose maybe I drank a bit too much already. But sorry, with what you were saying, Luke, carry on, mate. Or Ben, whatever you're going to ask, go for it.
Yeah, do you know what? I've got a bit of a superstar question here. And chat as well, please join in. I'll be interested to know. Right. Has Levy done more wrong than right? And that's to both of you.
Absolutely not. Nowhere near.
Okay.
Like in the last 3 years, in the last 5 years, yeah, maybe he's done more wrong. But when I started supporting Spurs, we were 13th, 12th, Gary Doherty, Anthony Gardner. Like, that was the level we was at. So all of the expectations we currently have, we have them because Levy has put the club in that position. And that's the facts of the matter. That is how we wasn't a club that finished Champions League every year when he took over. We've done that consecutively and so many years over the last decade. So he's made loads of mistakes. Of course he has. He's been in it 25 years. But to get us to the level that we're at is because it's under his stewardship. This isn't a Champions League club before he took over.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, if it's like I've said many a time, I try to look on both sides of it, even if it's the other side I do not agree with in any way, but I do try and see both sides. You can't deny on the business side that he has not put the foundation there. I mean, the foundation that is at this club at this moment in time, okay, if someone was to come in and buy this place, yeah, we just go that someone's going to buy it. Let's just say 3.5 billion just for the sake of saying it, yeah? They come in, that is all they've got to do. And then all they've got to do is look on the football side. They can go sell the name of the stadium straight away, get a nice bit of cash back from that. And then they just got to focus on the football. Literally everything else at this club, the foundation is built there as good as any other club out there.
Yeah.
We're one of very few clubs who can actually support themselves without even having to finish high in the league and sell players at the same time and win things. Not many clubs can actually do that. And
100%.
Just being honest, on the business side, I don't think there's much better out there who could have done a better job than what he's done on the business side. It's just when it comes to the football side, which is the most important side to us, even though you do have to look on the business side, because football is basically more of a business than it is a sport now, in my opinion, which is quite a horrible thing. But the money is just so much in it now. The business side of it has almost taken it over. But we're the fans who want the football and everything. And I do feel there is times where he has held us back.
Yeah.
I feel there's times that we've missed out on deals because he's so set on his way of how he wants that deal to be done. And even if he can save 500,000 out of it, just to walk off with a grin to say that I've got one over on him a little bit as such, comes across with that sort of attitude with it. You know, just to, I got the one better as such. Or that stubborn that he's just not budging come love nor money, even if he could, just for the principle of the matter or whatever else. And I'm thinking there's too many ways he's held us back on the football side as well. But for the club growing as such, and to the size of being, what is it, the 8th biggest club in the world, richest club in the world, and we've won 2 trophies in how many years? I don't think there's many out there that could pull that off, Ben.
There's two points to what you're saying. Well, sorry, Ben, one sec. Just 2 points to what you're saying there, right? So looking every single statistic across all of them, the profits, the in terms of biggest clubs, biggest revenues, biggest spend, all of that sort of stuff. We're in it, right? And we're the only club that's in it that hasn't won multiple leagues, Champions League, multiple cups. Like all of the others, they've all won multiple stuff, which tells you from a commercial aspect what he's done is incredible, because no one else is there, and we're the only club that stand out. And then the other thing is the richest club in the world in Newcastle. They are absolutely sodded and can't spend any money because the last owner that they hounded out run the club into the ground. They had no training facilities, they had no marketing, they had no sponsorship, they had no nothing. If anyone buys our club, they have literally, exactly what Dan said, have got everything in place to become a powerhouse immediately because of
not
what
far
he's
off
done.
Obviously, they'd have to go and buy the right players, this and that and everything, but everything is there. We are foundation-wise, we are probably one of the most stable clubs in that Premier League, if not the. If you look at foundation-wise, for obviously the stadium we've got, the regular income we've got, the deals we've got with NFL, the deals we've got with the go-kart going underneath, with all the boxing and all that. I know people don't care about that, but that is also a big part of a foundation of a club with the amount of income we have and everything else. Whoever would come and take over us now, if they want to win on the football side, it's there for the taking, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's a 5-minute job, but everything is basically there. He did hold us back on the football, though.
Yeah,
you are right. I mean, look, it's very hard to disagree with both of you. However, I won't say it with as much as conviction as the pair of you two. For me, you're absolutely right in terms of off the pitch. But we are football supporters, and we care about what's on the pitch. And at the same time, the stadium's lovely, the training pitch is lovely. But what have we got to show? What do we have?
That's the side we want. That is what we want.
And that, as fans, is what we care about. Don't get me wrong, boys. I am not disagreeing. I'm almost on the fence a little bit. It's very difficult. But at the end of the day, I'm a football fan. So are you, and so are you. And the way I look at it is, what do we have to show for all the fancy toys that we've got? And I think that's really and truly what matters. But it's very, very difficult to disagree and say, it's not bad. 25 years.
I'm joking.
More. You are, leave your apologist, Luke. Jesus Christ, what's going on?
It's just being honest. It's just being honest with it. I mean, just because you don't necessarily agree with something, it doesn't mean it's a lie. And again, in that aspect, you can't say he done a bad job at all. But we want our football club to proceed now.
We want the football to be the priority. That's what we want.
Yes.
And it's not.
We want progress in the football.
Yep, and it never will be.
Well.
No, under that stewardship, the way that he was operating, it would never would be. And for what it's worth, what I'm saying, I'm not saying that Levy should have stayed. I'm not saying what I'm saying.
He needed to go.
Are you sure, Dan? Are you sure?
Yes.
We do it with players. Right? I think, Dan, we was on a show where we was judging top 4, top 6 players. Like, is this player good enough for top 4? Is it enough good to top 6? Now, if someone turned around and said to you, I don't know, Solanke, is he a title winning striker? Nah, he's not. Is he a top 4? No. Is he a top 6? Is he a top 10? Yeah, he's top 10 striker. Okay, so if you're in the top 10 and you want to get into the top 8, what do you do? Go and buy a better striker. It's exactly the same with an owner. If you're anyone in any club in the world of football and you're mid-table or you're low, and there's a chance of getting Levy in as an owner, you're like 100%. He's going to make me financially secure. He's going to do all of that. Is he going to make you at the top table and fight for league titles? No, he's not. that's when you go and get something else in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that's the level we're never going to be in I know the people think we was getting relegated. We weren't. We're not going to be in relegation. We're never going to be in financial trouble. We're never going to be in anything like that under his stewardship. But we're also not going to go and compete year on year.
Luke, would you say his biggest mistake was not pushing on after the Champions League? Would you say that's where it started to really crumble?
That is the question I'll ask for that. Let me divert the question a sec there, yeah, because that is a good point you do make there, yeah. I mean, and Seven gifted Hotspur Hood membership. Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciated. So whoever did receive that, do say thank you to Seven and thanks a lot, mate. With that one, was it down to the actual timing of when we did it? Because that was all down to coming up to the
stadium
being built, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I can understand that with the stadium being built, the money isn't going to quite be so much there, but I still feel he definitely could have put more into it. But then there is also rumour that Pochettino got offered a couple of players and he just said no to them, full stop sort of thing. Yeah. We don't know what probably happened there, but I feel that is definitely the chance we had where other teams were sort of stuttering a little bit. That was our time to take something. That was our time to take the next step up. But would that have even been possible with the stadium on the way? That's the question I ask with it. Now, what I would have wanted was for us to take the gamble and fucking go for it, yeah? But that's looking at it on a football side. On an overall thing, would he have even been able to do that? It's just a question.
Well, so Dan, you are the financial man. I know you know plenty about this. So I will answer that, but I need to ask a quick question first. Did we pay for that stadium flat out with loans? Is that how we paid for the stadium?
As far as I know,
right,
yeah.
Fine, that's perfect. Now, Dan, you know, and I know, as do you, Luke, that Daniel Levy, when it comes to finances, is a genius. He's a genius, and he struck when the iron was hot when it came to building that stadium.
He couldn't have built it at a better
exactly. time. So my point being, to answer your question, I know that APR, I know the repayments for the loans to purchase the stadium are next to nothing. Next to nothing. And that is based on, the genius of Daniel Levy doing it at that particular moment in time. So I would like to sit here and tell you, absolutely not. It should have had nothing to do with the stadium.
But you're only talking about the interest. It still cost £1 billion. We still had to find £1 billion to fund it, and it's not coincidental that it's not coincidental that every single club that's built a new stadium has also gone through this same thing. So, but that's where the gamble comes in. What Dan's saying is you can turn around and go, yeah, okay, maybe because we didn't spend anything. Well, maybe if I spend 80 million quid, it's going to be 80 million pound. I'm down, but actually, if we go and win a league title because we finished second and then that counteracts that. But that's a risk. That's a risk, and that's where for me his risk thing was just too low. Like he didn't ever take. Let me just take that risk. Like it was always just too low. Yeah. And listen, as I say, for me, in an ideal world, I would have wanted him to change. But the key part to this is you talk.
It is just questions I'm asking, by the way. I'm just asking questions for it. That's all.
In terms of
call it devil's advocate, even
was it the owners that said we're not? Because let's be frank here. These owners are worth billions.
Yeah, I think they're 7.6.
Yeah. So for them to say, well, tell you what, we're going to invest 200 million, right? Don't worry about you. The club can pay off the stadium, but here's 200 million because we know that we've got 10 times what we've put into this club in what it's worth. Here's 200 million, go and spend it. Why didn't they do that? So maybe that was the remit. And we rightly turn around, and when every manager's sacked, we rightly turn around and go, he weren't given the tools. He absolutely was not given the tools to do his job. Maybe Levy wasn't. Maybe the money wasn't put on the table that we needed to be put onto the table. I'm not saying that's the case. I don't know. None of us know. We can pretend that we've got facts, but we don't know this. In 2019, they could have turned around and gone, here is 100 million of our own money when we're worth billions. Go and spend it. But they didn't. So therefore he's had to work differently. I don't know. I'm not saying that's factual, but
Lukey, mate, it sounds like a lot of excuses, bud. You're starting to worry me, pal.
It don't matter. He's gone. I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that even this seems to me that this is throw Levy to the wolves. That's what it seems to me, and it's exactly what he used to do to managers, and we used to criticize that. But so many people believe that Levy is the worst part of this club, but he was always a paid employee. He had shares, no doubt, but he was a paid employee by the people that are now being celebrated. That for me is.
Do you think he might have been? Who you think he might have been handicapped?
Hang on a sec. Tell you what I'm going to do here. Yeah, I mean, since I just had a message come through to me, I mean 7. I mean, I'm quite behind everyone on here with the chat and with, but my wife, seeing as, I mean, how the fuck is she able to watch TV and do this at the same time? I mean, me, I would not be a female, isn't it? Multitasking it. There you go. I answered my own fucking question.
Something we really can't,
mate. 7, you want to come on, mate, and say your piece and your opinion about this and have a chat about this? There's the link. I've just put it out there for you, mate. Do show up, just show your camera, and you're more than welcome. I mean, with what Chris is just saying here, he's just put breaking over 100 million is to be scheduled to be pumped into Tottenham Hotspur to help press ahead with ENIC's desire to make sure Tottenham can be competitive from all fronts. Now, there's one side of that. I look at that and I think, yeah, sweet, nice. But you hear 100 million these days and you sort of, I'm not saying you say you shrug your shoulders, but you're like, okay.
Look what Range just put in the chat. That's exactly it. Yep. I mean, he's saying that I'm right, so of course I'm going to. But why are the Lewis family doing this now? Why has it taken for them to sack Levy, for them to go, oh, okay, we'll now spend 100 million? We've only spent 150 million in this transfer window. Everyone else has spent 300, 400, 500 million. Why has it taken them until they've sacked Levy to now go, we'll put 100 million pound in?
Hold on, look, is there even a shred of official proof that this is real? Because can I tell you something? I've noticed a little pattern with Tottenham. I've noticed a little pattern. Every single time there is something positive going on at Spurs, the first thing that comes out is investments coming. I've seen it 3 or 4 times this window alone. Investments coming, sponsorship deals coming. I swear to God, it's like the media do it just to get the fans disappointed down the line. I can't, back it up, because at the end of the day, nobody knows for facts. But until you can show me like some actual tangible evidence that there's going to be any investment at all, then I'm just not interested. I think it is a load of bollocks. It keeps circulating. I don't know if you've seen the same thing, boys.
Do you think they've then, with what you're basically saying, Luke, is they've used him to their full advantage to get the most out of him, to get the club to the biggest level they can with him on the business side as such. Now that you've done what you can do, now you can fuck off and we'll get someone who can do the football side. Is that what you're basically saying?
Well, it looks to me that this decision has absolved them of all responsibility of what's gone on for the last 24 years. They are absolutely at the top of everything. Levy would have had to have answered questions, and at the end of reviews, he would have had to speak to these people for them to say yes or no, carry on doing it, don't do it. And by them sacking Levy, they have absolved all responsibility for the last 24 years. And everybody, even in the chat, are all going, I'm so happy about it. And it's like, but the person that managed him is still here and nobody cares. Like, nobody's like, what have they been doing for the last 25 years? So I'm not saying that he's right or he's wrong or anything like that. I think that Spurs needed to replace him or someone above 100%. Him needed to change the way he was to get us to the next level. I'm not doubting that. So many people in the chat as well were saying about he's not getting deals over the line. I agree. I agree with that. I'm not saying that's not the case. You can say about someone that this is a positive of them and this is a negative. 100%. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. What I'm saying is after 25 years, there will be occasions that you miss out on players. That's just natural. He's been in the game so long, he will have missed out on players. He also brought Edgar Davids to the club, who was far better than what we were at that time. He also brought Gareth Bale to this club. There's so many. You've got to play it both sides. So he had loads of negatives, 100%. He had loads of them. he also had loads of positives. Because as I say, when I first started watching Spurs, I never expected European football. And if we got it, we damn sure weren't getting it the next year. We damn sure weren't getting it the next year. And that's what his club has delivered year on year on year with a couple of exceptions. That's happened under his stewardship. Now you can say, I respect that. That's great. But you haven't taken us to the next level. And I agree with that. It's just almost like it's almost like we was like a Liverpool or something where we was winning title after title after title after title. He come in and we dropped to 12th, and now he's getting us halfway back there, and people are going, but it's like we was never that. We was never that sort of club. And all of the clubs that have superseded us, Manchester City, to an extent Chelsea were in front of us, but to an extent Chelsea, they have all been boosted by billions and billions of pounds being invested in them and all of that. So I just think that it's still, by him going, we don't know how much changes. We don't know how much change is coming, because
it's all ifs, buts and maybes, isn't it? It's only
yeah.
time will tell sort of thing, isn't it?
It's exciting and terrifying.
So if it does come to someone buying us as such, so it's just call it for the sake of the conversation, because I say it's all ifs, buts and maybes. We could come up with probably 100 different stories here, maybe one of them would be right, maybe none of them would be right, or you can put so many things together here, because nobody's got a clue what's coming now, really.
No.
Ideas maybe, but we just don't know. And one thing I must say, by Levy going, it has given me that one thing I haven't felt I've had at Spurs as a supporter since Poch left, basically. And that's a chance. Call it hope if you want. But I almost feel like we've got a chance of being a significant football club again, not just a business. Mm-hmm. So if someone is to come in for us, is there particular who would, or who do you think would be the type of people that would come in for us? Because this is another one where it gets amusing for me personally, yeah. Because when I've seen stuff like this spoken about before, I've seen like people with, obviously everyone their own opinion, each their own, whatever turns you on at the end of the day, perfectly all entitled in that. But then I start seeing people with the attitude of, I don't want oil money. I don't want blood money. You're all right still. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this sort of, with this sort of club, with that sort of club. I don't want us doing this. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. I mean, I'll give my opinion on it straight away. I think most people know it. I honestly couldn't give a monkey's whether the money comes from oil, blood, drop it over from Colombia for all I care the money, yeah? As long as it goes towards the football, that's all I give a toss about. The rest of it, I really couldn't care less. But I know other people are going to have different opinions to it because they've got different feelings to it and that. Still, how are we doing, fella?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Always fun, mate. I got kicked out of the front room and told to, well, just piss off and do a show then. Also, it's all right then. So I did.
Now, look, man, I'm super, super happy. I've been protesting for 6 years. And finally, I've got my wish. He's gone, but that's only half the job. ENIC is still there. So either Joe Lewis needs to go next, or his kids, or whoever he passes it on to, they can start doing things differently to what I've been used to. But it's the beginning. Levy out is the beginning. And,
well, it's a major piece of a jigsaw, in it, whatever you want to call it. It is a major thing.
Yeah, I'm delighted, mate. I'm absolutely, honestly, I've been sending out pictures to everyone I know. 4th of September is Tottenham Independence Day. Every year we will celebrate Tottenham Independence Day, and we will have a chicken Caesar salad because our badge is of a bird. So we'll have a chicken Caesar salad, and we'll celebrate every year, 4th of September, Independence Day for Tottenham.
Do you know, quite weird how it all works together, that one. It is a bit of a strange one.
Well, so Christmas they have turkeys. Thanksgiving they have, I think they have turkey. Independence Day, they have hog roast, I think. So we've got to have a dish. So I thought it's got to be something to do with chicken. Listen, let's do a Chick King. We'll have a Chick King every Independence Day. How's about that? Even better. We'll go Chick King.
So with what I've just said there, still, if someone comes in and takes us over, yeah,
yeah,
is there any thing that you're worried about? I mean, there is always that saying, the grass isn't always green on the other side, and everybody knows that. But I'm at that point now where, do you know what, bollocks, I am willing to take that gamble. Yeah, I know some people aren't. I know some people aren't. Again, are each themselves. But with that one, is there anything in particular you're looking for? I mean, obviously, I know we all want someone who wants to win at football. That goes without saying, yeah. But is there any sort of particular people you don't want in here for a reason? Because I do see a lot of the time with people saying, like I said, I don't want oil money, I don't want blood money, whatever you want to bloody call that, or I don't want this, or I don't want that, or I want Spurs to stay like this. Are you particularly bothered in any way that you don't particularly want anything, or you do want a particular type of owner or whatever?
So there's quite a few questions there. The first one for me is, in terms of ownership, no, I'm not bothered who takes over the club. And a lot of fans that have always played this, I don't want oil money, I don't want nation state money, I don't want this, I don't want that, are the same fans who are happy when England goes to Qatar, where there's very different morals and values to us. They're happy for England to go there and play. They're happy for England to go to countries that give us racial abuse. You know, if you really cared, you boycott those games, right? If you feel that, if you're gonna, I always say back your chat. Okay, I say leave it out. I go to the protests. I do. I built a whole channel off the back of wanting change at this club. So so I back up what I say. But a lot of these fans say I don't want this, I don't want that. Fine, then don't go to England games in places like Qatar. Don't go to certain games or support England when they go and play in certain Eastern European countries and our players get racially abused. You can't have it. You can't play the moral card when it suits you and then not play it because it doesn't suit you. So there's not a consistency there. So that's the first thing about oil money. With regards to, we don't no guarantees what you get next. This comes back to what the Levy-in side of the argument always would say. Be careful what you wish for. I didn't wish for the last 3 decades. I didn't wish for 3 decades of absolute misery, pain, Spursy tags, bottle job tags, and signing some of the worst players I've seen play for this football club. I didn't ask for the last 3 decades. So be careful what you wish for. I didn't wish for what we've been getting. And we pay the highest prices for it. So I've been consistent. There's no guarantee what owner you get. We might get a much better owner. We might get much worse. We might get a bit more of the same. But the question is this. It's not, do you want change? It's, are you prepared to roll the dice and see what you get on the other side? Or do you want to carry on with this? I've seen 25 years of this. I don't want to see it anymore. So I'm prepared to say, yeah, change. Let's see what happens. Maybe it lands and we get an owner that says, blimey, what a stadium, what a training ground. Look at the money you're making. We can do some serious in the football world with this. We can become the next Man City, the next Chelsea, the next Man United. Who knows, right? Or we get another Levy who says, oh, this is a good business. I'll keep this ticking, make my money. Or we get a Mike Ashley or an Everton owner and we go to shit. But all I know is this. I don't want what I've currently seen for 25 years. I don't want to see the way they've run the club football-wise. I don't want it no more. So I'm one of those fans that's be careful what you wish for. I don't want this anymore. So I'm happy to roll the dice, and I accept it might land in a bad way, but I don't see how much worse it can get than what I've been used to for 25 years. So that's my answer to it.
So is there anything that you particularly don't want as such?
I'm a bit different to you. I don't really want a drug dealer.
Honestly, mate, I don't care where the money comes from. I could not care less as long as it goes on the football, mate. But continue.
I'll tell you what I want. I'll tell you what I want rather than not what I want, because it's easy to say what I don't want. What I want, I know they haven't won anything yet, and I get that. But I want an ownership like Arsenal's. The Cronkies have got a history of buying NFL teams winning the Super Bowl, buying ice hockey teams winning the Stanley Cup, buying lacrosse teams winning the championship, buying an NBA team and winning the World Series, right? They've got a track record in buying football sports businesses and ending up as winners. They've only been in charge there for 6 years, the Cronkies. He's only had 100% control for the 6 years. In his second season or first season, I can't remember when he exactly bought the club, they won the FA Cup. Since then, they've bought a team that can win a lot of trophies. Their problem is they've got the wrong manager. We all know if Klopp, Pep, Ancelotti, Luis Enrique, anyone like that becomes Arsenal manager, that team's winning a lot of trophies. They're gonna win the lot for me. The Cronkies have built that club. They've got such squad depth now. They should really now. There's no excuses, and the money they've spent, £1 billion, and look at the players they're signing. They're not signing clowns. They're signing good players. So I would be happy with an ownership like that says there's ambition. We're backing the manager, even when it's not working. We're going to keep backing the manager because we believe in the project. I want to see an ownership like that. And if Arteta doesn't win a trophy this year, he has to go. He should have gone last year for me and the year before. But at least they're giving it a crack. At least they're giving it a proper go. Whereas we cancel every project after 18 months. We sack every manager either after they win a trophy, when they get to a cup final, or when they get us top 4, we just sack them. It's the Wild West at Spurs, you know. So I want sports-minded owners that are going to make their money because it's their business, but they're going to put the football, the sport first. And I think the Cronkies are a good example. And yes, I accept they've only won 1 trophy in 6 years. I accept that.
Okay, you two?
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I'll keep mine pretty short and sweet, to be honest, boys. For me, as a fan, you may as well call me a pole dancer because I want someone to come in and make it rain. I don't care where that money comes from. I want to see my club compete at the highest level. I want to see some top talent come in. I'm with Stell. I'm sick and tired of seeing the same old role come into Spurs, the maybes or the opportunistic purchases. I want to go out for once, you know, and be able to go and purchase the players we need rather than stopgaps or fillers. So personally, I don't care where the money comes from. I don't care who comes in as long as they're prepared to really push the footballing side of Tottenham Hotspurs to the level we want it to be at. Luke?
I mean, some of the people that are saying, like, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want someone who's, I don't know, started a cleaning business and it's worth 20 billion. That's just not going to happen. Like it's just madness.
It's true,
like,
it's true.
Honestly,
like, I mean, where do you think
think
that sort of money fucking comes from? It don't come from scrubbing around the toilet, does it?
It's like, it's just crazy. Like we're not trying to get someone who's going to buy this club for 300 million. Like, if anyone buys this club, they're spending 4 billion on it, which means they've not got 4 billion, because if they've only got 4 billion, they're not buying a football club. We're looking at people that have got 10, 15, 20, 100 billion. They're going to all have stuff that they've done in their past that they shouldn't have done. That's the bottom line. That is the bottom line.
Same as the rest of us.
It's the same like all of the rich guys that are involved in football clubs now are at the top level. Like every single top level club has got owners, probably other than the German league, because obviously that's a lot fan led, but literally everyone else, you know, like Real Madrid and Barcelona are the biggest criminals there are out there. Like it's rife everywhere. So you can't sit there and have this perfect owner that's never done anything wrong. That's all of the money is going to be coming perfectly legit and it's going to work out fantastically well. It's just not going to happen. So get that out of your head. If we're going to get someone in, it's going to be, unfortunately, someone who's going to have a bit of a shady past. That's the bottom line of that.
That's a fair point.
So, and Stell's right. If you're turning around and saying that, oh, I'm not happy with this money, but I'm also happy to go and do this and do that. If you go and look at, like, people think that Saudi have just invested in Newcastle, for instance. They've invested.
Connor said something that they own something part of Sainsbury's or something.
They're invested in everything, mate. They're invested in everything. They bought the golf.
Go back to Audi's then.
It's like, yeah. So that's, if we're getting bought out, we're getting bought out by someone who's got a shady past, and that's that. Is there a preference on it? No, not really. Not for me. As everyone said, if they're going to focus on the football, if that's what's going to be the priority, and let's be clear, if people that are worth 10 billion or 10 billion plus are buying into a football club, they're not there to finish second and thirds and fourths, because these people are used to getting exactly what they want. That's why they've got what they've got. So I don't care where it comes from. What was the second question? Because I've listened to
no, that was it. Is there anything particular you don't want as such?
Not at all. Listen, I'm not gonna like a lot of what whoever comes in. I'm not gonna like the way they operate, how they've got their money or whatever. But that's gonna be the same across anyone. There's like literally anywhere. It's all about what they want to do, what their intentions are, and that's it. I don't care who it is.
I mean, give me my idea. I mean, Seven, thanks a lot, mate. Thanks for the super chat. I'd love to come on, but I'm too camera shy. We'll tell you, mate, if you still want to come on, you can come on without showing your camera on. There you go. We're in a good mood. If you want to do that, mate, you're more than welcome. So just put the message on there and I'll put the link on there for you. It's appreciated. I mean, like I said, I'd love someone like Abramovich, someone who just wants to come in and do this for a hobby and bloody win. I'd be quite happy with that. Because like I've said, the rest of it that we have to give Levy the credit for that he's built, it's all there. Everything is all there. As all that whoever wants to come in, if they want to now make significant money off of Spurs as well, they just need to improve the football side now of it. Get the success in here to get the club bigger as well. The rest of it is all there on a bloody plate. So as all I want is someone who's an Abramovich would be a perfect person for me. Someone who's just coming in and just wants to win. I don't care if he takes over Spurs as a hobby, or whether because he loves them, or whether because it's whatever. As long as he's going to focus on that football side and go for the win, that's all I care about.
Mate, this fan base couldn't deal with Abramovich coming in and sacking players and selling players left, right, and centre. We get too addicted to players. We love them. We love them to stick around for years and years and years.
It's true. It's true. They'd cry if Mateus Tell got sold.
Do you really think it's that bad that, like... Go on, Ben.
You're joking, right? You got to think, if someone like that comes in, they're actually going to be buying real quality players that we all want to see. So our fan base wouldn't have to stick to these giant players and try and make the best of a bad situation. Because that's why I think that's why I think the fan base does it, because we don't have the players that we want. I feel like the only reason why our fan base sticks to the players that we've got so much is because we don't bring in what we all want. So really and truly, I don't blame the fan base for doing that for the most part.
Yes.
What?
That is what I would happily add. Elon Musk,
please.
Get him in here, mate. All day long. Get him in here.
Yeah. Could you imagine Spurs Twitter? My God. You think it's toxic now?
It would fit in with this club, though, wouldn't it? It would fit in with this
club. Do you really feel like the fans would be like that if we were to bring in someone like a Roman Abramovich, who's bringing in those quality players?
There would be fans out there who would get the upward. Yeah,
people 100%, mate. People underestimate how political this fan base is and how agenda driven it is. Like they really underestimate it. One thing I learned through all these protests is exactly what kind of fans we've got. Do you know, so many podcasts and so many YouTubers really came after me protesting because they were too scared to have the conversation about Levy and ENIC, right? And they just dismiss it every time. Not one of them reached out and said, you know what, let's actually have a chat. Let's have a conversation about this. None of them. That just shows you how fearful they are of either being proven wrong, what others might think by having a protester on their channel, and free their image. And it's all the politics of our fan base. Look, I'll give you a great example of just the way we operate. It's just, I've said for all of this season, Mateus Tell's a waste of money. Should never have spent 35, 40 million on him. Complete waste of money. We could have put that towards much better players. Maybe that could have been the money to get the Eze deal over the line and just say, Crystal Palace, there's 75 million. Done. We've got the money. But instead we wasted it on Tell. Tell is an average player. And all I ever get is give him a chance. He's only a kid. You give him a chance. He's going to be good. You hate Tell. That's all I ever hear. Okay. Well, Thomas Frank hasn't given him a chance because he's dumped him out of the Champions League squad. So when I say it, problem. When Frank does it, Frank's not giving him a chance in Europe. Why is no one calling out Frank? Why is no one calling out people who are defending Tel not being in the Champions League squad? And this is what I mean about agendas. This is what I mean. It's all politics. They don't mean what they say, half these fans. They just say it to look good because, you know, it's like these people that take a selfie and they put it on Twitter, pouting, and they put Tottenham till I die. TTID. It's like, who's that for? Like, what are we doing here? They care too much about image and not about the actual substance. And our fan base is like that. It never used to be. There's only one other fan base like this. There's only one other fan base that's just like us and slightly worse, in my opinion. And that's Arsenal. Their fans are deranged. Like, we're lunatics. They're deranged. They're completely gone, that lot.
Man United are close, mate. Man United are very close as well.
I think they're just broken, man. I think Man United fans are just broken. I think they've given up now. But Arsenal,
I mean, look at what they were to what they are now, sort of thing.
Hey, the Gooners and the Yadami are a weird bunch. It's North London, man. There's something in the waters in North London. I don't. do you know? I get more fans from non-Spurs, non-London clubs like West Bromwich Albion fan, Everton fans, Norwich fans, Wolves. They contact me saying, "What the fuck are you lot doing? Can you explain this to me?" They don't get it. They look at us. They don't understand it. They can't understand us. And I say to them, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it myself."
Crazy.
We are mental. The club's mental. I think it does it to you.
We are mad.
I think it does it to you. And I think there's far too many people that have their conclusions and then only look at what fits that conclusion. That's all it is. People are so worried about being wrong. And I mean, YouTube's it. Like, YouTube is exactly what happens. Like, if you are backed Ange. So now every time I go, "Oh yeah, Frank could have done that," they're like, "You hate Frank." I'm like, no, I didn't say that. And also, I can like Ange and also like Frank. Like, you can do both of them things. Like, but you can't on YouTube. You've got to have one or have the other, and that's it. There's no two ways about it. So, but
it's like Stel said. It's basically political, isn't it? You've either got to be that way or that way. You're not allowed to have a bit of an opinion on that side or that side either, sort of thing.
I had a row on X. Someone put up every single person that doesn't like Solomon, it's because of his nationality. And I was like, no, I just think that he's not very good at football. That's all it is. I literally don't care where he's from. Like, I just don't think he's that good at football. And I think if he was in our squad, he would be 7th choice left winger. So
again,
maybe it's
you
that.
know what? That's another thing, Luke. I mean, the amount of time sometimes you feel you repeat yourself with things like that. But again, it's like when it comes to players and whatever, I don't care what the player gets up to off the pitch. I mean, if he wants to go and get with his other unicorn and be a lamppost with it, I couldn't give a toss. If the other fella wants to go out and goes and wants to do other things, that I don't care what they get up to. I don't care who he sleeps with, who he marries, what he does behind his business, whatever other stuff he gets here. As long as he plays on the pitch and turns up for the job, I couldn't really care less. And I think some people,
unless it's some fucked up shit, right?
I really don't care.
There are some stuff that I need to do.
There are limits to this, right? But
and this is my point. This is the point I'm making, right? Bring up Tells at 11:16, right? This is exactly what I mean, right?
I'm quite a way behind. Give me a minute. I'll be with you in a minute. Yeah. I'll be. Yeah. Right. I'm on 11:16. Give me a second.
Okay. This is what I mean about politics.
Romero, Marks 11:16. Got Destiny, Frank, West Coast Spurs, Destiny, Archer, Santa. Tells. There you go.
Right. Knock it off, Stel. He didn't make the cut because of the quotas. Okay. Bergvall, Odebert, Pape Sarr all made the cut. They're all part of the same group that Tell falls in, overseas non-homegrown players, and they all cost less than Tell. Where
they ate shit like him.
So. Where does your argument have any legs? And this is what I mean. You can't say anything bad about Tell. Don't you say anything bad about my Tell. He's the next Messi. No, he's shit. He's a crap football player that doesn't cut it. We've wasted a lot of money on him, like we did when we spent money on Aurier, and like we spent money on Danjuma on a loan deal, and like we spent money on Reguilon and Rodon. It's okay to say, do you know what? He's just not good enough for Spurs. It's a waste of money. We do it all the time. But you can't. If you say that, it means that you either hate Tottenham or I don't understand the quotas, yet Pape, Sarr, Bergvall and Odegaard, who all cost less, they all got in. Yeah, this is what I mean, Dan. Our fan base, we're mad. We as a fan base can't have an honest conversation about a player like Matthias Tell. We just can't have an honest conversation and say, what are the pros, what are the cons? And then conclusion, answer the question, should he be at Spurs? We cannot have that debate without a meltdown in certain political divisions of the fan base. Can't do it. You're not allowed to do it. So, by the way, Tells, nothing against you personally, mate, but I'm just responding to you because you did mention my name. I don't get it. Bergvall, how much was he? 10 million? 10 million?
Yeah,
10
million.
Right? 8 million. How much was Pape Sarr? I'm sure it was about 5 million. I'm sure it was cheap. We got him when he was about 18, 19.
15, wasn't it? I think. Pape,
15 million euros.
15 million.
Yeah.
And then Odegaard was 30 million, was he? Odegaard, 27 million, something like that?
Yeah.
Odegaard was 25, if I remember right. Something like that. Either way.
I think at the end of the day, still.
Matthias Tell was 35 million. And the manager said, I'm putting all those cheaper players ahead of you in the Champions League. That's what I think of you, Tell. That's what I think of you. And I agree with Frank. I totally agree with him, by the way. I think Frank's absolutely nailed it with that decision. Totally.
He's got Champions League experience, and he still opted against him. So it's definitely.
Do you know what though? The thing is, the conversation with Matthias Tell blows my mind, because with players like your Bergvalls, with your Sars, you see something. At the very least, you see something to justify them being around the squad. That's fine. But with Matthias Tell, why people defend him is genuinely beyond me. Because I don't know if you boys are with me here, but I haven't seen anything, and I mean anything, to suggest that he's going to go on to be a superstar. If you're in a club like Tottenham Hotspurs, you've got to show something at some point. You've got to take your opportunities. And for me, Matthias Tell has done absolutely nothing. I mean, I don't know if any of you boys like him at all. Do you have faith in the fact that he might?
But
guys, this is where I was saying about YouTube. I like him, but we shouldn't have bought him. That's it. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that he's a player that in 3-4 years people would look at and go, why have they let? Like, why have we let
based
Spurs
on what?
35 million?
I'm interested. I'm not calling you out. I'm interested to hear this. Based on what? What has he done for you to think that?
I liked when he was at Bayern. I liked the way that he operated off the left hand side. I know Saber always says he can't cross, he can't do this. He's a decent crosser of the ball. I think his attitude is superb. I think he gets being at Spurs as well. I think he just gets it. I think he's got a level of maturity. I think his mentality is superb. You can tell, like when he missed that penalty, I was like, he will learn. He's the type of character people saying he will sink or swim. He's not the type of character. You can tell in the way he is. He fronts it up. There was, I think he'd been here for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. English isn't his first language. He's on loan, and we're sending him out to go and do press conferences. Like, I think he is the type of character that in these terrible situations, he will come out from it. I think he's a decent finisher. I think he needs to improve on that, but I think he's a decent finisher. Yeah, I know that he's not been great at Spurs, but I think that that's more of a physicality point of view. I think that he's been so worried about catching up and trying to get fit and everything else that he's just fatigued constantly because of the pressures that are coming on. But I think that if he had a year away from Spurs, if he had a year on loan somewhere that was an average team, I think that he would develop really, really quickly. But I don't think we should. I thought the only reason we should have signed him is if we was bringing in, and I said this at the time, there should have been a left winger that comes in that he learns from. That's what we need.
We slammed. Yeah. Mike, let me just give this one stat, then I'll go.
I'll come straight to you next, Mike.
Right. Tell has played 22 games for Spurs, 2 goals, 1 assist. Right. Werner, who is the worst football player I've seen us loan ever, his stats are much better than Tell's. Werner, and we hounded him out. Like what you said to me there was a lot of mentality and personality. There's no end product. What about skill? What about beating a man? What about crossing? What about passing range? What about tackling? What about scoring? What about assists? What about creativity? I don't see any of that. I see little moments once in a rare moment, but I've seen nothing from him to say this is a player we've got here. You know, Odebert though, I could say I could with Odebert, I've seen enough to say there's something a bit more there. Although I don't rate him much either, but
I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm saying that I can see something in Tell. What I see in Tell and what I see in Odebert are actually completely different. I don't know whether Odebert's got the personality to be able to develop into a top player. I think he's got some of the skill that will get you there. But with Tell, I think a mentality, almost like a Harry Kane sort of thing, where he's not going to settle for not being very, very good. And I'm not saying that he's been great at Spurs. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is I think that him and Odebert are both players that if you're bringing them off the bench, they can be decent options. But we need experienced players that they learn from. There needs to be a left winger that starts every single week that they go, this is the player that's going to learn from. A Son in his prime, that sort of thing. But we haven't delivered on that. So therefore, we've wasted that money 100%. I'll completely agree with you. And he's not earned the right to be worth 30 million quid. No doubt about that. I'm not trying to say he is.
Okay, Mike, how we doing, fella? You all good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, go on. You wanted to talk, mate? Go for gold. How you been?
You know what? I just think with Tell. I said it the moment there were rumors that we are going to make his loan move permanent. That I was against signing him based off what he has shown, right? But even with that, I just thought that the whole context around, like the logic of it, was all messed up for me, right? Because you buy a left winger / striker who the only thing you are paying for is talent, right? And I think we bought him also because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if he spends 3 seasons at Spurs, he becomes homegrown because we bought him when he's 18, right? So I think it works that way, that if you are at an English club for 3 years before turning 22, I think it was, you become homegrown, right? So I guess that's why they bought him. But the logic of it for me was, if you want to have a young winger as part of the squad, why not give Mikey Moore a chance, or anyone else at that matter? We have plenty of young wingers at the squad, right? And you wouldn't have to pay money for them. So I don't know. It was just a weird move, and I think he will be, because of the money we paid for him, he will be a cogblock for some of our other players that I think are much more talented than him, right? And I'm not saying Mikey Moore is the be-all, end-all of young players, right? But you don't have to spend money on Mikey Moore because he's already your player at the academy, right? You have one of your own, right? A guy who went through the levels, right? And I don't know, just a weird signing for me, Matistel. And I am not surprised he wasn't included in the squad, right? And to people saying that it's because of the quotas, right? Like there are 3 quotas, and like looking at it logically, right? You have to have 17 players that are not associated to an English club, 4 club trained and 4 homegrown, right? We have 4 homegrown players, 1 club trained. So the only quota that's left there is 17 foreign players, right? And we have more than 17 foreign players, so somebody had to go, right? It's because I think people confuse it because we have a smaller squad of 22 players instead of 25 in the UCL, right? So people confuse it that's the reason why someone had to go. No, the reason is you only have 17 foreign players, right? And Matistel right now is a foreign player for us, right? So just like Bergval, just like Sar. So that's it. Somebody had to be not included, right? And he won't be included in the second part because we have Madison probably won't come back, right? But we have Kulusevski and Dragusin coming back from an injury. So I bet you they are a priority over him, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get included at all in European competition this year.
No,
I think
can
with more,
see what you're saying with that.
I think with more, the one thing people completely underestimate and probably just don't know, but he's never played against adults and he's never played against people older than him. If you actually go on transfer market, he plays 24 games for the under 18s and he's played 21 for the first team and he's played 5 games for the under 21s. He's never played against people that are physically stronger than him. So Mikey Moore absolutely had to play games this year. There's no way that he should have been sitting on anyone's bench at all. He should be starting games. Because he's, as I say, he was under 18s. He was under 18s. He was smashing it. He then, for some reason, he skipped the under 21s, started training with us, got an injury, went and played for the under 21s a couple of times, but has effectively been in the Spurs first 11 since, first team squad since then. So he's not actually come up. All he's come up against in his career is kids that are 18. So I know what you're saying, and I think if he'd have played more games, and I think that's why we're doing it right with Luca Barnett. Byfield, I was playing under 21s football now at 16.
I was just using because I've seen some people saying that Mikey Moore is nothing special, right? I'm not saying he is. I was just using him as an example because they play the same position, right? You can insert any name, Young or like Luca Williams Barnett or whoever else from the academy, Ajayi or whoever else, right? It's just that I think we seriously didn't need to spend that money. I don't see. Oh, let me put it that way. I don't see Matistel being better than those young kids that we have right now, right? Maybe in the future it's a different thing, but at the moment of buying, right, I didn't see more from Matistel compared to other young players that we had at the squad, right? So for me, there was just no reason to spend 30 million on him plus the 10 million loan fee in the first place, right? Because I was against the loan itself before it happened, right? I thought we had different priorities at that time, so yeah.
Hey, Luke, here's a question for you. What you said about Matistel, you know what? Parts of it I completely agree. His mentality is fantastic. He does get what it means to be a Tottenham Hotspurs. You've seen the clips of him talking to the fans. I think that's wonderful. But if it doesn't translate to the pitch, there's a problem. I wanted to ask, do you feel similarly with Archie Gray? Out of curiosity.
In terms of what?
Well,
should we
see the way I look at Archie Gray, I think his mentality is also top tier, and I also feel like he gets what it means to be at Spurs, but it's not really translating onto the pitch.
He's a waste of money, mate. He's a waste of 40 million quid.
Yeah, but
how do you feel about Gray?
It's another player that for me, Gray's the sort of player that you sign, and again, this is where we've done our whole transfer policy has been completely back to front. What you do is you go and get your experienced pros through the door, and then you go and bring your youngsters in to learn from them. So most people, I would guess, on this panel are saying Basuma's not good enough. He shouldn't be in the squad, right? He's gonna get sold, whatever. Well, that's who Archie Gray was learning from last year. That's who Archie Gray would have been looking up to in training because that's the position he wants to play. Like you go and get Palhinha in, then you go and get your Archie Grays. And it's exactly the same sort of thing with Tell. You go and get your star left winger and then you bring in the young.
I can agree with that side more. That is definitely the mistake we made when putting the young players on there. I mean, the way I would build the team is by getting my team there and then putting young players into it slowly. Not trying to put the young players there first. And that definitely won't knows work.
That. Stell's work with young players. He knows that. He will tell you all exactly the same thing. You don't put young players in a situation where it's a shit show. You don't do that. You want structure. You want experienced pros in the door. And I'm not saying this is the reason because he's not showcased it enough. But Tell was also playing in a poor system that didn't have experienced pros around, and Bergvall was the standout who was trying too much because the experience. So there could be extenuating circumstances. I'm not saying that is the answer, but the way that we think you develop youth players is not the way you develop youth players. You need youth players to, as I say, they come in, you don't put too much pressure on them. They're not supposed to be the star men. They're not supposed to be the players that you look for to go and create things constantly and things like that. So that's part of the problem that we've got. In an ideal world, we should, and that's why I don't think this transfer window, in terms of the players that we got, it was to a very good standard. But in terms of what we needed, Archie Gray probably needed a loan. Tell or Odobert probably needed a loan. And then we should have been able to bring in experienced players. Basuma should have gone. Someone should have been coming in for him. That's the problem for me, is that we've spent so long in apparently improving our squad. and now our squad isn't good enough. So therefore, that was completely nonsense. We shouldn't have been doing that. So that's where I think our big problem is that I've been saying all along, you need to go and improve your 11 and then you make your squad better. All we've been doing is focusing on squad in, and the squad isn't good enough.
So here's the thing, guys. Archie Gray's a waste of money because if you don't get game time, you cannot improve. You cannot improve.
I agree.
Unless you play games. Okay. He's not getting the games. Right, he's not going to get the games. All right, he played against Burnley, great. He didn't play against PSG in the Super Cup final, came on for 5 minutes. Didn't play against Man City away. Paulinho played. Didn't play against Bournemouth when we lost. Where's he going to get the game time from? And here's the thing. When you coach players, the match, they call it the extension of the practice. So training is practice, obviously. So when you train, you're practicing. But in training, you try and replicate as close to possible match scenarios. So when you go into the match, you've replicated moments or phases of play. That's why we say the match is an extension of the practice. It's still practice. You're learning when you play football, but it expands on what you've done on the pitch. So the most important part of development is the match itself. That is where you truly develop. Matches, training, same thing when it comes to developing. It's exactly the same thing, but just different environments. So if you don't give a young player the matches, how are they going to take what they've done in practice and do it in a real life world scenario? How? It's one thing training, but you haven't got 60,000 fans cussing your mum and dad. You haven't got referees and VAR at training. You haven't got a different football pitch. You don't have a dressing room that you're not used to. You don't have opposition in training that are looking to kick chunks out of you. On a match day, you have all that, which is why you practice. Now can you go and do it in the real world? Like anything you do, whether you're a martial artist, whether you learn the piano, whether you are someone that's learning to be a radio host, you can practice right now. Go and do it live. It's different, and there's pressure. There's expectation. So Archie Gray will never develop unless he plays games week in, week out, It's not going to happen. And the one time we did play him week in, week out, we played him at centre back. He's not a centre back, right?
I think what Ryan says here,
which is why it's a waste of money, guys. It's a waste of money because it actually, I'm agreeing with Luke here. If you're not going to give him the game time and you're not going to play him in his right position, what was the point of signing him? There's no point. There's none. And he's going to regress. He's going to actually go backwards. He won't. I
improve. Think so.
He will regress. He will because he's not getting game time. Every youngster needs game time. Every youngster needs game time.
It's like where people, I think, get the difference between fitness and match fit. Two total different things, isn't it? Being actually fit, but being match fit are two total different things, aren't they? And I also agree with what Ryan has said here. I mean, game time at good level, human beings only rise to the level they are challenged with. I think that is actually a fair comment.
The level is less important at youth level in terms of you haven't so let's use was it Devine as a prime example. Devine was absolutely smashing it at Notts County? No, Port Vale. And then we went, right, we're going to speed him up now. We're going to take him to League One or Championship, whatever it was. And he didn't play. He's better off playing 50-odd games at a lower level than playing 20 games at a higher level because he'll learn more from that. Because as Still said, it's not necessarily about at that level because you're expecting them to go above that level anyway. It's about getting momentum, getting understanding, playing against adults is a completely different game to playing against 16-year-olds. That's why, again, I go back to it. The under-21s right now, we've got Janai Byfield, who's started every single game so far. Granted, it's only been 3 or 4, but he's starting every single game. He's 16 and he's playing under-21s football, which means there'll also be 23, 24, 25-year-olds because you can play overage players. Luca Barnett is doing exactly the same thing, 16, starting every single game. So when he comes up and is playing against 23-year-olds, 24-year-olds, you use your body differently, you protect the ball differently, and that's all part of the learning process. Like, and that's what we need to do better than, because we've been shocking at managing and developing youngsters for far too long.
No, I agree with that. And personally, I think I'm not going to go into that one with him. I think him going somewhere like Rangers would have been a perfect thing for him to do. I mean, if we all know there's a league you're going to go where you're going to get your shin caps kicked off, it's going to be in the Scottish League. I mean, and that is where we need to get things right.
This is the result of the culture that Daniel Levy has built. He's always put a barrier between the academy and the first team. He's always told the first team, you will never interfere with the academy, because the academy's job is to develop players that can play for any manager in any system, in any style of play, because we expect the manager to last no more than 2 years. So when the owners and the board are telling the academy, you've got to do it your way, not the first team's way, because we don't expect the first team manager to be here by the time you've developed these kids. What kind of culture are you building? What kind of philosophy have you implemented into your football club? And this is what it's been like with him. This is, you speak to coaches at Spurs, you speak to the youth coaches. Mate, none of them praise Levy. None of them speak high. The only thing they say is, we're blessed to come to work in such a magnificent workplace. That's one thing they'll all say. We're so lucky that we get to work.
Well, it's like what Harry Kane said, wasn't it, with Munich? Like, one of the interviews he done very soon after. I mean, I remember speaking about it with you before, Mike, that Kane basically stood there and just went, he had the shock of his life when they actually just lost the game, just a game at Munich, and it was like the whole place went into complete and utter meltdown. Whereas at Spurs, it was like, oh, you could lose one. Oh, don't worry, we're probably winning that. Oh, don't worry, we'll draw the next one. Oh, don't worry, we'll win the next one. I remember we had a chat about that a while back. Like, the attitude of the place is totally different, isn't it?
Dan, we've got coaches at the club, right? You speak to them, and they get proper pissed off when we spend 20, 30, 40 million on an 18, 19-year-old. They get absolutely fucking pissed off, because they feel like, what's the point of us developing kids here if you're just going to go and splash 30 million on a punt, but you don't want to take a punt on the kids that we are busting a gut, developing and making love the football club from the age of 11. These kids come from the academy. They live, eat, breathe, shit, love, die for Tottenham. And you want to go and give £30 million to a club for a random player that might never, ever do anything at the club. Mate, the whole thing, I hope now that Levy's gone, this changes, man. I swear to God.
That's part of the manager as well, though, isn't it? That's part of the manager as well. To be able to,
I mean, Mike,
but Luke, the manager's under pressure. The manager's told you got to get top four. You got to get top four. You ain't going to take it. You ain't going to give time, energy to developing a young football player and bringing one through the ranks. See, Arteta, he's bringing through the youngsters now. He's bringing them, but do you know why? Look how good that squad is, which links to what you said. They're entering a wonderful environment. It's like fucking hell. Look, if I
got some good players coming through there,
mate. Dan, as an 18-year-old, if I step on the pitch at the Emirates and I fuck up, I've got 10 good players that are going to cover my ass. Imagine you fuck up at Spurs. Who's covering your ass?
And that's why I hope that the new manager, they brought in that Stuart Lewis. That's what I've been saying. That every manager lasts 2 years, so they don't care about Mikey Moore's progression. Like I think Frank is different, because I think the way that he's been in his managerial career, it's always been long term. But Luca Barnett, for instance. Most managers won't care how he's going to progress, because I'm not going to be here when he's here. So I don't care. That's why you need to almost have other people within the club that are looking after the long term of the club, and let the first team manager look after the first team, if that's the way that you're going.
Or keep the manager and let him actually deliver the project, which might take 5 years. Keep him. But we don't. We sack everyone. We hit the panic button as soon as there's a bit of drama. Right. Manager out, sack, and we do it to everyone. I hope it doesn't happen with Frank. Maybe now Levy's gone, we won't do it with Frank, and he actually gets a good.
We don't like drama at Spurs. We don't have much of
it. There's still plenty more to come. I mean, Mike, with the fact that Levy's gone, I mean, I haven't been able to ask you this one yet, so I will go back to what I've been talking about at the start. Your whole thing on Levy leaving, bite my bloody tongue off in the process. What's your opinion on all of this now? And where do you think this can actually take us? What do you think this can actually change now that Levy's gone? Is it going to have anything to do with the youth side of it? Is treated and things like that? What do you think is going to be the change at Spurs now that Levy's gone? Or is it just going to be someone who's a bit better at getting a deal done now because nobody dislikes him as such?
Like, first of all, like when this whole Levy thing happened, right? Like I had a really tough week at job this week, right? And after Thursday, I had to take a nap after coming back from the office, right? So I fucking took a nap. And before I took it, Levy was still the owner. And after I woke up, there is literally like 10 million fucking messages on my phone, on WhatsApp groups, or everyone at YouTube doing videos, right? And I was like, what fucking reality did I wake up to? I wasn't sure that whatever is going on in my life is real, right? But on a serious note, I am happy that he's gone, right? How to say it? I don't want to say that I've softened my approach towards the ownership in like recent months, but I just got like detached from it. Like I just like the previous season, the vast majority of it really like put a wall inside my head when it comes to like getting emotional with Spurs, if you get what I mean, right? We are getting our ass kicked so much, right, that my brain just, turned the switch off, right? So I kind of softened my approach with plenty of things when it comes to Spurs, but no matter if I was like dead on Levy out or maybe with a bit softer approach, I've always said it, right, that when I support a club, not only Spurs, right? I support different clubs in different disciplines and all that stuff, right? When I support a club, what I want from the owners, the managers, the players, and everyone around the club to do everything in their power, but also within like logic, to make this club as competitive as possible, right? Because that's what sports are for me. For me, you play sports and you play team games to win, right? You are an athlete, you want to win, right? It's not like you participate in a 100-meter dash, right? And you want to come eighth, right? It's not the case. So I've always said it, right? For me, if Levy does what he's supposed to do, it's also a subjective opinion, right? So it's hard to quantify exactly what he had to do, right? But if Levy does what he is supposed to do, in my opinion, to make this club great, then I am okay with Levy, right? But if he keeps fucking up, right, and he keeps doing weird shit and underinvesting and making wrong decisions, right, hiring wrong people and all that stuff, he has to go in when that's the case, right? Because he's not doing something that he's supposed to do as an owner. And so I have the same approach with the managers. I had the same approach with the players, right? So I am happy that he's gone. I think he went past his sell-by date. I think that's the saying, right? I think he just had a bad reputation in the Premier League, and not only there, right? Like
no one wanted to do business with him.
You could see that we are struggling to make business in certain cases, right? Where we are not offering the best money or upskilling a player through like a couple different levels, right? So that's it on Levy, right? But what I hope will happen, I mean, my dream would be that whoever takes over after him takes priority in football and actually realizes the potential of this club, because I've always been saying this, right? I think we are a sleeping giant that doesn't want to wake up, right?
Yes,
I've been consistent on it, right? That if only we choose to, I'm not saying we are going to be Man City or whoever else, right? But I think we can be dangerous, right? We can be that team that wins something big at least every 4 to 5 years, right? I'm not saying we are going to be Liverpool or City, right? That takes a lot of time. That takes decades to become like them, right? But I just hope that someone comes that will keep this club stable so that we don't have to worry about FFP and PSR. I know it's bullshit, right? I know it's accounting, but I would rather be in a situation where my club is healthy, right? Rather than like Villa worrying if we are going to get slapped with a 30 million, fee from UEFA, right, for breaking the rules. That's what I'm saying, right? But in that like stability, I want them to, the new owners, I hope they will, as I said, realize the potential this club has. They will do something special with it, right? So that's my hope. What will happen, I have no clue, obviously, right? Because we don't really know who is in charge right now and who will be in charge soon. So that's how I look at it.
With the stability side, though, Mike, that's already there.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is
Levy has give that. Levy has actually give that to whoever takes over next, or whoever would buy Spurs next. Levy has actually made that side for the club. There is blatant stability there for whoever comes in. Can go and spend a lot of money and still have income, everything else, PSR and all the other stuff.
Yeah, so what I was saying, Dan, is I hope it stays like that.
Oh, I've got you.
Yeah, right, so that the new person that comes in doesn't just fuck up the club, right? Because I don't want weird shit happening at our club, right? Like, I would rather be in that. Like, I like where we are in terms of like the everything in the background, right? Because when I'm watching, like, as I said, Aston Villa with all their issues, right? And I don't know, like Nottingham Forest getting docked points and Everton getting docked points, right? I don't want to be involved in that shit, right? So I would prefer if we stayed where we are when it comes to stability. I'm perfectly fine with that, right? But on the footballing side, as you said, I think this club has enormous potential when it comes to spending. And I don't think, I understand there is the pecking order, as I said, like Liverpool, City, they will always win a player over us, right? But I think there is more than enough players of the second tier, what I call them, right? That can make you a fucking cracking team, right? And Simmons is one of them, right? Simmons, Kudus, those are not like Mbappes and Haalands of this world, right? In terms of like the tier of players, but they are still
they are good players.
Right? Yeah, they're wicked in my opinion, right? I think
and
they
also
are
have a hell of a lot of have a hell of a lot of potential on them as well, don't they?
Exactly.
That was what I was saying about signing £50 million players. We don't need £100 million players at this moment in time. We need more £50 million players.
So when I was talking about it with Brian earlier and you as well, Luke. I think it's going to be for the next 3 months. We're basically just going to be sitting here, sort of like wondering what's happening, apart from watching the football and everything. Basically, do you think it's in January where the club itself, ENIC, whatever way you want to put it, can prove to the fans basically that they mean business? And what I mean by that is it was for forever, for anyone, forever. Do you think it's like we wait for? Yeah, I was saying me and Luke spoke about it earlier with Brian. So anyone, whoever, do you think it's like for the next 3 months, we just sit back and watch, basically, tell Frank that he's done good, tell Frank that he's done bad, tell a player that he's done good, tell a player that he's done bad, like we usually do, and then just sit back and wait till January? And do you think that is the time where the club, ENIC, whoever, whatever way you want to put it, can actually prove something to the fan base as such that they actually mean business now?
Yeah, I think we are in the wait and see phase, right? It's hard to predict what's going to happen with the club in near future, because we don't know who will take reign, right, and who will make decisions. So it's hard to judge where we go. As I said, I just can have hopes, and I stated what my hopes are, right? I just hope that we are ambitious and we strive to be the best, right?
I mean, all this has stayed the same. I mean, because this is all to do with ENIC, all the property development and everything else. That's all ENIC. But I mean, what do you think on that, Ben? Do you think it's just basically we wait until January now to see if the club means a bit of business?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to tell, really, is there? I just think when January does roll around, look, to be fair, in January it's always difficult to make deals anyway. But I think when January rolls around, it will be very, very, very telling. Do I have hope that something's going to change? Yeah, I do. I mean, look, listen, part of the reason why Levy was sacked, from my understanding, is obviously what's his bloody name? What's our owner's name again? Joe Lewis. You know, was down to Joe Lewis's kids, who are also very high up in ENIC. You know, who are supposedly big fans of the club and also saw Daniel Levy as a bit of the problem. So yeah, I think again, it's all guesstimation. I think until that time comes, We are never really truly going to know, but it will be telling come January just to see what happens. I mean, you hear about, investment being pumped into the club. Again, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, boys. I think it's a case of wait and see, really, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, that's what I think it is at the moment. I mean, what do you think with that still? Do you think it's like basically we just go with the flow now and then see, is January going to be the time where the club can prove to us that they actually mean some sort of business? Or do you just think this whole season's just going to be a go with the flow, basically?
No, not at all. Frank has to prove himself, and this new structure has to prove itself. I'm ENIC out still until I see proper change. I'm ENIC out. I said, when I first come on tonight, the first thing I said was half the job's done. Levy's gone.
I agree.
Now I want Joe Lewis gone. Frank doesn't get a free pass. No manager gets a free pass at Spurs. But I'll be fair. I'll be fair with my assessments. If I can see the manager is costing us games, I'll say the manager is costing us games. If it's because the squad, the tools are the problem, I'll say the tools are the problem. If we've got shitloads of injuries and he does what Frank did and we're wide open, I'll say, hold on, this is on the fucking manager. So Frank has to prove himself. He hasn't proved anything. He's never won a trophy in his life. He's only ever done it at lower levels. So for me, he's a good coach. He's shown that he can be tactically good. But against Bournemouth, Dan, I'm sorry.
I'll come back to it.
We were 1-0 down for the first time under Frank, and he didn't know what to do. He did not know how to change it up to get back in the game. And it wasn't until the 70th minute he said, right, I better put someone else on Semedo. I mean, they doubled up on Kudus. They doubled up on Kudus from one. Why didn't we do so? It's little things like that.
And they totally took Porro out of it, like exactly what happened with Ange as well. I think Frank was a big part of the problem in that game. He got it wrong. I think Frank got that game wrong, personally.
Look, every manager will get things wrong. Every manager,
of course they will.
No one's perfect, right? But against Man City, I thought we were excellent. Like, excellent. Tactics were spot on. Again, but we took the lead. From what I'm seeing from Frank, I think he's not scared to make tough calls. He's not scared to make the decisions that need to be made. If we get the lead, he knows how to manage the game really, really well. When we're in a losing position, and it's only been once, so I can't base it on this once, but based on once, he looked a bit lost. But let's see how we go. Like Frank needs to prove himself to me. I'm going to give Frank a year. I've said I'll give Frank a year. Give every manager 1 year to show me that they can progress us and that they get certain things that I want to see as a fan. And then it's over to the board, whether they stick with the manager, back the manager, and whether they're going to keep having good transfer windows like the one we had in the summer. That's got to be every summer now. Every summer has to be of that level. Every single summer. Can't be just once and that's it and we go back to type. So ENIC have got a lot to prove. Vinay's got a lot to prove. Charrington's got a lot to prove. And Frank's got a lot to prove. But I do think we are going to go in the right direction now because we've got a change of chairman. The transfer window we just had, we've never seen that before. We've never seen us sign, quite a few good players. We've never seen that.
Well, that's at least 4 good players. They're all good players.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at Simmons.
Yeah. He's a top player. Simmons is a top player.
Yeah.
He's a top
and
player.
he's also got a hell of a lot of potential with him as well. Same as Kudus. Paulinho proved he can do it. The only thing that might hold him is injuries, whatever, and that. If he can keep the injuries off.
Fitness. He needs to get his fitness up. His fitness isn't quite there.
And what's it? Who was it we got up front? What was his name? Yeah.
Olo,
yeah, I mean, okay. That's better than what we've got as far as I'm concerned. I mean, his overall GA and everything and that isn't great, but it's definitely not bad. And I think he's better than what we got.
Listen, Dan, we're still 2 or 3 injuries away from a mini crisis, right?
Yes.
I think we all know that. This is where Frank gets that first year. He gets that year because, listen, when Ange joined, he lost Harry Kane, as in he never got a chance to use Kane, and we didn't replace him. And so for me, I said, right, you get a whole year because you're the first manager to come to Spurs and not have Kane, and we haven't even got a proper replacement. So I gave Ange that year. Frank's the same, because right now we're 2 injuries away from a crisis. He deserves a whole season. He deserves
agree.
it. And then
But I would still judge him game by game, the same as I judge any other players or manager as such.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't see.
But you can make your assessment at the end of the season, basically, innit? You make the proper assessment at the end of the season. But as it goes, you can only judge game by game, innit?
Yeah, because what happens if Frank goes for a really bad spell and end of January, February, March, we don't win a game, and from 6th in the league we drop to 11th, but he goes and wins the FA Cup? Then what? It changes everything, doesn't it, for us fans? So that's why you got to wait to the end when everything's said and done. But he gets a year, and this ENIC don't get that same grace though. They've had 25 years already.
I agree with that one. And just a question here, Laurie, thanks for the super chat, much appreciated. Question: Levy as chairman with unlimited funds, Saudi owners or insert chairman, whoever, under Lewis ownership. This has all been a PR job by Lewis family.
Maybe we'll find out.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Do you not feel Lewis? Sorry, go on, mate.
No. I was just saying that's exactly what I was saying earlier.
Do you not feel with the statements that have come out from the club and the decision to get rid of Levy? Do you not feel this maybe loosens the noose around the neck of ENIC? Because they do appear to be making moves now. And listen, you can't get away from the fact that, as Stel said, 25 years at the club, they've been ghosts. They've essentially done nothing, or at least not that we can see anyway. But it does seem like, obviously, look, I think it's Vivian and Charles are CEOs. They're obviously Lewis's kids. They are CEOs in ENIC in one respect or another. I'm not 100% sure. But, it seems to me that they are maybe starting to take a bit more control of the situation, and that, they've recognised we're not successful on the pitch as much as they'd like us to be. And it
took them long enough.
It really, mate, it did. But then again, you say it took long enough. In all fairness, Joe Lewis has only made them beneficiaries in the last 2 years,
3 years.
So
2-3 years, something like that.
For me, for the time being, it loosens that noose around the neck, and until they prove to me that they're not gonna start pushing this club forward, I'm willing to maybe get on board with it, see what happens. I think really and truly, January won't matter. I feel like the real time to show up will be next summer. So I feel like we've got at least another year to wait before we see a difference, to see a change. But I don't know. I'm willing to get on board.
What Stel said earlier about we get a manager that wins us a trophy, we sack him, and ironically, the owner delivers a trophy and then he gets sacked as well. It's like Spurs just do everything that's absolutely mad. We've had 17 years with no trophy, and every single year we could have sacked him with legitimate reasons, and then he wins a trophy and then we sack him. I know he's not directly responsible for the trophy, but it's just, this is what I'm just saying about this club. It's just batshit crazy.
Same with Mourinho. We wait till he gets to a final, we sack him.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, even as I said, for the last 17 years, he could have sacked Levy every single year, and there probably wouldn't have been much argument. And as soon as he leads us to a trophy, we then sack him. It's just this club is just absolutely crackers. It's so funny.
It's true. It's true. It's just spot on.
I mean, with all that last season, though, that was also down to the fact that we finished bloody 17th as well. But I do get the other side as well with it. Everything just seems to be very back to front at Spurs all the time.
But Dan, what we're saying, and this is why I completely agree with what Stel's saying, because I was Ange from January saying that I think that he'll go and get the trophy, and everyone kept telling me. I was told in the chat constantly. I
said at the start of the season, I think he'll win us a trophy, but he's going to struggle in the league.
And Stel again is bang on. What Stel just said is this squad isn't good enough. So guess what? Nor was the one that Ange had, because for the last 3 transfer windows, he had one decent window at the start, and then the next 3 delivered one first team player. That's when
he didn't have good windows. After that first one, he did not have good windows. I agree.
the window that we've just had has only caught up what we should have already done. Do you understand? And this is the problem that we've got, is that, as I said, we keep signing. So we were so fixated on signing squad players, and now we're looking at it going, well, the squad isn't good enough. So what have we done for the last? And then Tell will lead into that as well. Like there's so many of them where you go, we're already looking to upgrade after buying them 8 months ago, 10 months ago, 12 months ago. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Luke, there's no plan. There's no plan. They've been winging it. They wing it. They wing it. They sell a plan to the fans, but they don't even believe in the fan themselves. They sell a plan to the fans, but they don't believe the plan themselves. They're just selling nonsense. 1 minute it's data-driven model. Next minute it's Project Youth. Next minute it's Project Serial Winner. Next minute it's Frank. Next minute it's Ange. Next minute it's just random, man. It's just random managers, random projects, random sales pitches. This is why I really think they've got to stick with Frank, man. They have to. Otherwise, what is the point of him?
I think they will. I think they're more likely to stick with him because I think he will do better with what he's given. Like, 2 people have just put in a chat about, Ange signed Werner.
If we finish this season 12th, do you think they keep him?
I think it depends on the reasons why. I think if we get a couple of injuries, let's say Van der Ven and Romero get injured again for a few months, I think they'll look back on it and go, yeah, maybe we made a bit of an issue, maybe. And I think that that's one of the reasons why Ange stayed so long last year, because Ange said at the very start, he actually said it at the end of the summer, he wanted another centre back. We then had 2 centre backs injured in November, and we signed another centre back on the 1st of February. And again, people keep saying, oh, well, Ange this, Ange that. He did not get backed in that January when we had no defence at all. All we needed to do was go and sign a centre-back, and we waited a full month to do it. And that we really dropped off after that. So I think that it all comes back to the recruitment, getting it right. And I think if we haven't, I don't think we got everything right this summer. I think it was much better, but I think we needed more. And I think that we are so short, particularly in fullback and centre-back areas. I think in the Champions League squad, we've got 5 centre-backs, I think it is. You've got Van der Ven, Romero. Gray will be included in that. Davies and Danzo. So if Romero or Van der Ven can't play because we've got City, and then it means that we've essentially got Davies or Gray playing centre-back for us in the Champions League. What is a manager supposed to do with it?
And we are going to get injuries. There's too many games not to get injuries.
Of course we will.
Well, we're going to get some.
AFCON. Do you know how many players have we got going to the African nations this year?
SARS going.
Kudus.
Yeah.
Kudus don't go. Ghana didn't make it.
Ghana. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh, right. I thought they did.
No, they didn't. That was one of the reasons why I said Semenyo. Like, if you buy Semenyo, or talking about squad planning, you buy Semenyo, you lose your 2 wingers every 2 years.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there.
And he's unbelievable, and it'd be great for us. But you then, like, from a squad planning point of view, unless you've got 4 quality wingers,
unless you've got someone to back that one up, basically, is what you're saying. It's like basically the squad depth, isn't it? And that is one thing we have never, ever, ever had at Spurs, basically. That is what screwed us up when we was with Pochettino and other things. I just want to say to a user, thanks for the super chat, mate. Appreciated. Finally, speed restrictor is gone. See how we drive. Yep, only time will tell on that one, mate. I totally agree with you there. And we are Spurs TV for the super sticker. Thanks a lot, mate. Appreciated. So basically, before I bring this to an end then, even though I'm enjoying sitting there having a drink as well, but where do we go now? Where do you think these next 3 months up until Christmas are going to go? Because things are definitely going to get very hectic very quickly, very soon, basically, where we're playing at least 2 games a week, and we ain't going to be playing small games either. We are going to be playing in that Champions League. So whoever wants to go with it, go with it.
Can I go first? Because I have to go. I
go for it, mate.
An hour. I've got a few bits to do. I think that we will. I don't expect much in the league. I don't, if I'm honest with you. My worry is that we're going to try and focus on every competition, and that's a disaster. You know, I've said this many times. No Spurs manager has ever finished top 6 and won a trophy. It's simply not possible with the squad that we give the managers. So either they've got to focus on the cups or focus on the league. If you do both, if Frank does both, we're going to have a very average season. If he cherry picks what to target, let's just say he says, I'm going to go all out for the Premier League and the Carabao Cup, we might have a half-decent season. We might be a bit surprised about how much better we do. But if he tries to juggle Premier League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, mate, we're going to get absolutely fucked. The squad hasn't got the depth. It simply hasn't.
It hasn't. You're right.
Mate, it's nowhere. The drop-off is massive. There's no one at the club that is as good as Kudus on the wing. Nobody. Currently, if Simon gets injured, we're back to Pape Sarr in the 10. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
If Palhinha gets injured.
Palhinha gets injured, we're back to Archie Gray in the 6. We're fucked. If Van der Ven gets injured, it's Ben Davies. If Romero gets injured, it's what? Dragusin, if he's fit?
Danso.
Yeah.
And I think Danzo's good. I think he's good enough cover, personally.
That's not bad.
It's the only position that ain't bad.
If Richarlison gets... Okay, we've got Moani. But if Moani gets injured, we're back to Richie. Like, Richie was awful against Bournemouth. Like, absolute shite. So...
Yeah, but he was the dog's bollocks, wasn't he? About 3 weeks ago and everything.
Well, we never said that, but I just feel we're going to get injuries. We're going to get fatigue. The manager's going to have to shuffle the deck. The biggest concern I've got is you saw that Bournemouth game. You go 1-0 down and the players aren't playing well. That bench looks pretty grim in terms of bringing on a game changer.
To change the game around.
It's grim. It's grim.
The only thing, right?
We play Borussia Dortmund and we play the Champions League teams. And sorry, Michael, go on. Sorry, man.
No. The only thing, but obviously they won't be part of the squad for next couple of months, right? But with Kulusevski and Maddison in the squad, because they are like still obviously our players, then it looks a bit better, right? But Maddison obviously like he's gone until April, right? So for now,
he's out for the
right,
season.
Yeah, as you said, Stelios, for now,
February. They're saying February.
We don't know. Like he's apparently training. Then it's apparently that he's out until the end of the year. Who the fuck knows, right?
Solanke's back after the international break. When?
Yeah.
When after the break?
Yeah. My point is right that I agree with you that for now, right, it looks fucking grim, and it won't look better for at least like 2, 3, 4 months, maybe, right? So. As you said, like it will be extremely tough to navigate all the competitions. Like he will have to rotate, right? At certain points, he will have to rotate the players. So we will see Archie Gray, we will see Bergvall, Odobert, Tell, and all these other guys, right? Because they are part of the squad. So he will have to use them unless he does what Ange sometimes did, right? Which was like we criticized him for it, overplaying players, right? Just not giving them a rest. And like Kulu playing 30 fucking, I don't know, it was like 35 games in a row, 90 minutes each pretty much before he got injured in February, right? So, yeah, we just have to avoid a situation like that. I don't know. Like
avoid it.
I think
how?
This is like Carabao Cup.
Yeah, but by rotation.
One thing
right?
before you go, Stel.
One thing
before you go, Stel. You're getting questions here and everything and that. Where are the Tottenham away live streams?
Yeah, what's going on?
Fingers crossed, we will be back next week. We're starting from zero for the 3rd time. We're starting from scratch. It's
from zero again.
Yeah. Long story.
Wait, so somebody got your account banned? Or
no? Okay, so Will Stewart has got access to certain functions of YouTube that we need to make the channel run. He's gone AWOL. We can't get in touch with him. We've tried everything, and that's it. Without Will, we can't do what we want with the current channel.
I get it because yeah.
So we're going to have to start from zero all over again. Iggy didn't want to do it. He felt disheartened. I couldn't give a shit anymore. But having watched the season start, everyone misses it. We had a meeting last week and they said, all right, let's do it again. So, but we're going to go live on Tuesdays. We're going to go live on Tuesdays at 8:30. But if there's a Champions League game, then we're going to do like a pre-match show. If the game's early on a Tuesday, we're going to do a post-match show. If there's no Champions League game, great. We'll just do a normal show. So, but we'll be back. We'll be back. Fingers crossed next week, if not the week after. So, thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
No, well, a few people have been asking that. I must admit, been wondering myself. I just thought you're just taking a bit of time off, basically. I mean, I can't blame anyone for wanting to do that after how long last season was.
No. We've been dealing with a shit show, mate. Absolute shit show. It's just anyway. Listen, Luke, Ben.
But anyway, take care of yourself. Cheers, coming on, mate.
Tottenham Independence
Take it easy.
Tottenham Independence weekend.
Oh, baby.
I'll meet you at a chicken.
Yeah, I'll see you at the chicken.
I'll meet you at a chicken.
Right, Michael,
take care of yourself.
Michael's had a chicken.
Yes, I had chicken.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah, take it easy, mate. Luke, when and next are you going on? What are you doing anytime soon?
Got a video going live tomorrow for a RB Leipzig fan. It's kind of come on the channel. We've done a pre-recorded video talking all things about Xavi Simons, what Spurs fans can expect, what he thinks but he will become, that sort of thing. And then the next live stream will be next Thursday in the build up to the West Ham game. Do a bit of an overview of internationals and how teams have got on, etc. Hopefully Jed Spence plays for England, but we'll see. So yeah, next Thursday 9:30 p.m. as usual. We'll go live.
Okay, and Mike, Ben, anything else to say before I say thank you to everyone?
You know what? Something nobody mentioned. Am I right in thinking the African Cup of Nations starts in December?
Yeah.
So that's going to be bye Sar, bye Kudus, right?
No,
No, not Kudus. We just said that it's just Sar.
Not Kudus.
I was just Sar, right? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I was wondering.
I thought they made it through there as well, but they obviously didn't. Okay, so I just want to say a big thanks to Super Spurs TV being a new member and also giving on the 5 memberships. Much appreciated. 7, same with you, fella. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. And again, thank you very much. And Laurie, thank you for the super chat, along with a user and also We Are Spurs TV. Much appreciated. Well, I'm going to go see if I can get my TV back now. Whether I can or can't is probably a different bloody story. But at the end of the day, thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for everyone coming on. I'm just going to go have a drink and see if I can get my TV back. See you later. Have a good night.